dreamy eyes, dreamy hair, dreamy cowboys.
Dreamy
The other day too. Wait, that's what he played. Come on, he had a show.
We've had Sugar Bears, we had Dreamy Cowboys. I don't know what's next on this desk.
This event has been an emotional roller coaster for me. All right.
Mangachu, the captain of this team here. Agility is certainly going to be a player to look out for. Joe Meister as well. We haven't really touched on all that much, but we'll get to that in a little bit. And then on the other side, you have the Russians, led by the one and only Rubicon there, straight flexing on fools in the support position.
Whoa.
Whoa. Yeah, dude. I mean, like, hey, you just got to respect.
Yeah, those traps, though.
Those traps, though. But yes, this team, a very scary squad. And both teams, I mean, everyone coming into this event, they were looking at Russia and Canada. This was the match to look out for. So I'm super excited to see what both of these squads can bring to the table. This is like what you want.
Yeah, even though, we are looking at the fated battle between Shadowburn and Agilities, one player I am really looking forward to is Zhao. He has so much to prove, right? He's one of the few players on that team that isn't on an actual established roster currently, and I think he has a lot of potential. His Zarya is super strong. He's been picking up Tracer 76, and so he's the one that's bringing a lot of that variance into the team that, can allow them to bring out different compositions here.
Yeah, and if there's one word to describe Xiao, as we've seen him throughout the weekend, it's eager.
Yeah.
So definitely eager to show a good Russia here.
Well, we are eager to get into this matchup reinforced, so it's time to do so. Let's send it over to your commentators for this Russia-Canada game. It will be Monte Cristo and Doa.
Hey guys, Don Monte Cristo here for Russia versus Canada, and I think, like everybody's saying, this has kind of been the most anticipated matchup. It's a battle for first place in Group F, and man, like anyone who gets second place in this one, press Group F to pay your respects, man, because you're going to have to go up against South Korea. That's going to be a rough one.
Yeah, it basically is the fight to not be put on the altar and sacrificed to the kimchi gods.
Jeez, like, South Korea is just looking untouchable. So this is a super, super important match, and you know what? It's going to be good. I can't call this one. I think Canada looked a little bit rough the first day, but they really brought it together in day two. Russia's looked good throughout, but they kind of tend to be doing what we saw last year from them, which is really relying on Shadowburn. I think the team is definitely better than the Russian team we saw last year, but they haven't shown a lot of flexibility yet.
Yeah, that's the real question for me, Doa, is that we've seen Forsaken move. They have over to Sombra and play some Sombra compositions, but it's been overwhelmingly having that Genji for Shadowburn and mistakes on the Tracer, both of which these players are excellent at running. But we've seen so much diversity from Canada. Mangachu flipping off of the Diva to play the Pharah and the Hanzo when necessary.
Right.
A lot of depth to these compositions, and I think that we've seen better strategic reactions from Canada, but we've seen tighter team play from Russia.
I agree.
They're very comfortable doing their one thing. So this is going to be, I think, a little bit of a battle of the expertise of a one-team comp from Russia versus that dynamic ability to adapt that we've seen from Canada so far.
Well, that's the thing, because Russia came into this knowing that, Shadowburn's a star. We play around this guy, and it's that idea, it's that strategy that got them second place in the World Cup last year, which is not bad at all. And so here we have another opportunity for them to kind of do the same thing. It's funny to see them come back with kind of a even more evolved Protect the Shadowburn comp here in the second year of the World Cup.
The meta's changed, so it's harder to protect the Genji these days
rather
than sort of bolstering up his dive. But we're not going to see that Zarya. However, for Canada, we are going to see Surefour on the Sombra. So something different. Now, Canada has been running this Ana on every defense that we've seen from them on the Hollywood side, but mixing it up with the control over the health pack and the EMPs in the open space of the point. Russia, well, they're going to keep doing what they've been doing.
That's right, Russia on the attack right now into the defense of Canada as we go for a bit of the old dive. Shadowburn looping around the outside here, and we'll see what they can do. A little bit of poking early on. They're going to go deep on the cafe, though. Joe Meister in a little bit of trouble. Gets back by the Winston shield, though. Yeah, he's okay.
Yeah, he's going to be okay, and it's just a battle for the point right now. Play conservatively inside the cafe. If you are Team Canada, use the Winston shield, use that defensive matrix, and try and work your way up. But Forsaken's going to pick XQC off.
Yeah, XQC falls first. Shadowburn found some really good shots on the side there, too, and getting a lot of damage with that dash. So with the power of Sharik. Russia coming in and taking a bit of this. There's the EMP from Sherfor, though. Canada coming back in. Can they turn this fight around? They're lacking a little bit of power, and it's showing. You know, they didn't have a lot of follow-up after that EMP, and looks like it's just going to be a fast point A take from Russia once they clean out the tanks.
Well, even though the EMP came through, Doa, it was a bit of a desperation because Russia was already dealing with a multi-man advantage onto that point. So follow-up was just never going to be there, and they are just delaying right now. Sherfor swaps over to the Tracer. Agilities now goes for the Genji. So Tracer moves, switches hands, and we're seeing much more standard dive composition as Canada moves to mirror that comp of Russia. But problem is, a lot of those ults are going to be reset right now as Rolf goes on to the Zenyatta. So Russia should get a nice long push here between point A and B.
Yep, took care of that high ground early on. Canada has to try to reclaim it a bit here. Chow getting a little bit low on that Diva. Has to back away. Ooh, Sherfor kind of caught from behind, but yeah, Russia looks like they're gonna have to fight right here. Pretty commonplace we see the second fight. They're actually just gonna go ahead and drop the Transcendence and move forward with it. Yeah, why not? Man, I think they kind of caught Canada a little bit off guard there. Joemeister going down a bit early, and Sharik has been so good on this Winston at finding those picks, finding that kind of disruption.
I'm gonna catch Sherfor out on the side too. So everybody went in, and Russia disciplined with that ult economy. They still have 5 ultimates remaining, only using the Transcendence. And they really are abusing the fact that they made Canada basically swap their heroes up and reset all of those ultimates to get a nice push, and they're not overcommitting to anything.
Yeah.
So Canada will be able to make some defense here, however.
Yep. They've got some tools to use. Forsaken goes down early. Good start for Sherfor. They're going to pop the Transcendence. I don't know about that. I don't know if there's a whole lot of pressure coming in onto Canada, but Rolf felt the need to do it to stay alive, and they're going to win the fight and get themselves a bit of breathing room here.
Well, they got the first pick nearly instantaneously, right?
Yeah.
So
what do you think about that Transcendence, though?
It looked like they were trying to communicate. They didn't expect to get the pick that fast. Had they known or had it happened a half second later, probably wouldn't have come through. But regardless, they win the fight, and they did at least get Russia a little bit pushed back off the cart right now, and not a major investment either. So if you still have the sound barrier, you're going to be okay.
Yeah, I mean, you do need to kind of be a little bit cognizant of the Dragon Blade, but the sound barrier, if it's the right time, should mitigate a lot of that damage. But either way, Russia shouldn't feel too worried about that. Still 3 minutes on the clock to push forward in this offensive round.
We'll see where Sharik is going to go here.
Yeah.
On the side, just dives right back in. He's trying to get agilities down early.
All right, that's going to draw up the sound barrier. Now they can just wait, and as soon as it's over, Shadowburn, I got a feeling he might be pulling out the Dragon Blade, trying to find that positioning. Let's see if he can get back there. XQC going down early. There it is. Dragon Blade for both teams, actually. Agility's the target for Shadowburn. Gets low, has to reflect, and that's 2 kills from the self-destruct for Russia. Didn't expect that. The Genji is being a bit distracting and setting up some nice Diva picks. In Russia, they're going to move this payload probably through the end of point B here.
Yeah, they are. This is going to be the push they wanted. Agilities, he didn't have the protection necessarily of that sound barrier because it was baited out by Sharik diving. So better patience from the Russian team. And that's going to result here in a point B take eventually after this stall finally ends. Looks like that'll be it.
Well, I feel like we're really seeing exactly what we talked about from Russia, where they're kind of transparent. You know what these guys are going to do, but they're just so good at doing it, it's hard to stop.
Well, I also think that Canada shouldn't be trying to mirror composition Russia. They are better at running this composition. We've talked about how Mangachu is a little bit uncomfortable on that Diva. Had to switch to Torbjorn there for a second just to reset his Diva mech and spawn.
It's rough. Yeah.
So it's rough, and Russia has been disciplined in their ults. So if you think that you're going to be able to use your ults better, communicate better, and dive better, I think you're just wrong right now if you're Canada.
XQC going down yet again. He's died the first in a lot of these fights. Shadowburn taking advantage of it too. And Russia should just keep rolling forward here. Yeah, Canada backed off, forced to regroup yet again. And we are seeing a bit of a disconnect. This is looking a little bit more like Canada from day 1 than Canada from day 2 so far.
Yeah, I think it's because their initial defense didn't work out. And when they had to switch so many people around, it basically made it very difficult for them to even fight at all on point B. So didn't get any time off really on point A. Lost point B very quickly, and now we're in a situation where they have to beat Russia at their own game, and it's not working.
Yeah, nearly have Mangachu popped out of that Diva suit. They do now. That's a great start. Chao soon to follow, though. He got pulse bombed, has the self-destruct to try to pave the way for the cart to get back in there. Looks like Russia's going to back out for the moment, though. Oh, Chow popped on the Diva suit again, and that's going to be a pretty annoying delay for him to not have that suit for a little while.
Yeah, just trying to fire that Bunny Blaster to get the necessary percent back up. He's going to have to run all the way back to spawn right now.
That takes a lot of time, too.
Oh, yes, it does. Switches to Reinhardt, switches back to Diva,
Yep.
and that's going to be a little bit of a denial of ult charge there. Canada.
It's a good 20 seconds off the clock there in favor of Canada.
Yeah, Canada should be able to hold for quite some time now. Rubicon without the sound barrier, Forsaken only at 75% on the Transcendent. So
Yeah.
Canada in a very good scenario to play defensively and stagger those support ultimates to make the big hold.
That's right. Sound barrier comes in for Canada as Russia moves forward. Forsaken goes down, and that's just straight up a one fight for Canada. Agilities pops a Dragon Blade at the end. It's going to finish off the rest of the Russian team, but doesn't get much more definitive than that. And they're still going to have the Transcendence when Rolf gets back up, too.
Well, Russia's going to need to do a couple eco pushes here if they want to have the necessary power to finish through on this map, or they've got
A couple, though.
Yeah,
Do they have time for a couple?
they have time for a couple, yeah. So
Maybe
they got,
just a couple.
and so that's going to be the key here. Agility's still trying to poke out, but they'll be happy that they don't see the sound barrier anymore.
Yeah. Forsaken's got his available. And now the question is, can Shadowburn draw the Transcendence out possibly? Do you have time to kind of make that trade right now is the question. Russia's in a little bit of a tricky spot. All right. Chow's going in again, or rather Shriek's going in again on that Winston. Getting really low though, gets taken down, perhaps a bit too early. Transcendence for Canada as they push back. Russia on the disengage, but they don't have time for this right now. They have one more push.
But that's fine. They got what they needed. They got the self-destruct and the trans out. So this is the push they wanted.
Late
to
kill on
regroup.
mistakes, though.
Yeah, the late kill on mistakes is actually huge. That's a big, big play from Surefour. That's going to ruin Russia's plans on this last push.
Well, I mean, it's going to basically accelerate it, right? To a point where it's going to be really uncomfortable for them to make things happen.
Yeah, they're going to need to transfer sound barrier in, looks like. 10
Could be.
seconds. Nope, they've got just enough time.
All right, they are there. They're on the payload. They've got ult to use. Here comes the dive. Shadowburn from behind. There's the Transcendence. Russia trying to keep everybody up right now. Shadowburn firing away. There's the Dragon Blade. Comes in on the supports. Gets one. Rolf goes down. Joe Meister soon to follow. No, he gets batted back by the ulting Winston. Russia still have that sound barrier to keep everybody safe, and they are getting the kills. They are winning the fight, and there's the self-destruct to finish off Joe Meister, and it looks like they may finally have it. They will. Wow, Russia, OT finish here on Hollywood. They really played that last fight well.
They played that very well, Doa. You could see that was the kind of methodical approach that you want to see in good Overwatch. Know that you're going to be at that old disadvantage. Don't panic on some of those attacks. And even though Surefour got that late kill onto mistakes, it wasn't quite enough time off the clock in order to prevent a solid push from Russia. They knew they had methodically drained their opponents of the sound barrier, the Transcendence, and the self-destruct. So holding at that point was going to be very unlikely.
Yeah.
We do see Russia just barely push through all 3 points on Hollywood.
That was so nice from the offense standpoint, though. They're
Yeah,
like, we
it
have
was
1
nice.
minute left. We know what ults we have. We're going to dedicate exactly enough to draw those ultimates out, lose that fight, and then come back with an advantage and win it. And that's exactly what they did.
Yeah.
Execution's good.
Surefour, though, he almost made that play that saved that last point, though. That's what you like to see, those big pickoffs. But
Yeah.
if that had become just maybe 5 seconds later, it may have tilted the match in Canada's favor.
I mean, Canada's good, right? I mean, we came into this one saying, we don't know which way this is going to go. Arguably, like we said, Russia's better at executing what they're doing, but Canada's perhaps a bit more versatile. We'll see what they can do in their attack round, though. At least they forced Russia to finish in overtime. That's kind of a nice little bonus.
Yeah, definitely. And we are going to see a 3 DPS composition with Chow moving to the Soldier 76, so a lot of damage coming from the Russian side, but not very much protection for the Soldier on the high ground. So really, it's going to come down to Shariq's positioning and whether or not we're going to see Forsaken hitting some of the sleep darts if there is a dive onto Cafe.
I think this is a good plan because for the most part, Shariq has been in the right place at the right time, whereas on the other side, XQC has been a little bit over-aggressive with a lot of his dives. And so where you kind of put the other team in a situation where they need to dive in like that, I think that is kind of preying on, maybe some of the weaknesses Canada's been showing so far.
Well, they're going to go for the dive again.
Yep.
All the same, so they stabilized nicely towards the end of Hollywood. after having trouble on the defense for most of the map. But there's the dive.
Yep, going into Cafe, should be expected by Russia. We'll see what the response is. Rolf's still in security now, and Sharik does take down Agility, so yeah, they were ready. I mean, it is kind of, well, Surefour took down Shadowburn, but for the most part, it's playing out like we expected. Canada backing off a little bit, getting some of that healing back again. Russia displaced at least from the Cafe, but they are picking up some of the kills they need to hold the point. Yeah, Surefour getting a bit low. There's the kill from Rubicon, and so that should be about it. So, you know, Russia knew it was coming. Canada tried it anyway. The execution wasn't bad, but Russia was just really well prepared.
I am really surprised that after Surefour got the kill onto Shadowburn, we didn't see a coordinated disengage from Canada because of the spawn location. Would have gotten Agilities back there for a 6v5 much faster, but
yeah,
in this case, they stuck with it, and unfortunately for Canada, XQC was the next to fall. So I see Agilities probably try for this dive once again. Here we go, same play.
Yep. Same plan as they try to build a little bit of control meter on the point as well. Shadowburn getting low once more. That's another kill on him first for Canada. They need a little bit better follow-up. There's attack visor now, but Chow is very low here. Needs to be careful. No, he got healed up. He's okay now. Gets forced back though by the Diva. Mangachu right there, popped out of the mech in the end. Sharik striking back. There's a Transcendence from Canada. Tries to keep everybody up, and Russia might have enough. They've got the nano boost down into Sharik, but he's not doing a ton of damage yet. Shadowburn, though, getting back in time to make a bit of a difference, and that's going to look like it's going to end the attack for Canada.
So Canada tried something different there. They sent the Winston and the Diva into the high ground on the Cafe, but this time Agilities was on the low ground, hunting Shadowburn alongside Surefour. And while that worked, the tank line still eventually melted, and Shao was able to repulse the attack, get back up onto the high ground, and use the tack visor.
Yeah. Now, Shadowburn really kind of coming back in the nick of time, too, to put on that extra pressure. So Canada with about 1:40 left. They've got some time. Not a lot of ults to work with, though, but by the same token, Russia not a lot either. Agility's coming into the Dragon Blade. Immediately hit by that bio grenade, though. Still finds a kill onto Chow. Soldier out of the way. Meanwhile, Shadowburn striking back on the Canadian side of things. And he is putting that Dragon Blade to a little bit better use than Agilities was able to.
Well, at least on the Russian side, like Rubicon even saves his sound barrier right there. So that was another time where Agilities plays like he did on Immortals, which is he's going to be the one engaging with that Dragon Blade.
Yeah.
He got a kill, but it came at a pretty high cost as Shadowburn used the open space on the point to pick up a lot more. And Rubicon holds onto the sound barrier, which is really the crucial defensive ultimate that you want here. Surefour makes a switch over to the Soldier.
All right, going back in for the dive yet again. We've seen this a lot of times. This time Surefour is zoned out, though. Sharik goes in. They've got the sound barrier, too, to keep putting the pressure on. Surefour on the run here. He's got Shadowburn to contend with, and the Primal Rage will do the job. Chow has that tack visor out, too, and Russia holding it with ease. You know, against what Russia's got now, you'd think this would be maybe one of those moments where you try to pull out the Reaper attack, right? Where you just kind of run onto the point and make them come down off of Cafe onto you, and then you kind of deal with the tanks. But it doesn't seem like Canada has that in the playbook here today.
No, they don't.
They've been trying the same attack over and over again, and it hasn't been working one more time.
They have the sound barrier. They're going to go in with it, though.
They do. Nano Burst on the side of Russia, too. Nano Boost, rather. Ooh, but Shadowburn goes down early. Good start here. They're gaining that control meter, and it looks like they were able to chase away Russia before they could quite get reset up on the point. Agility's on his own with that Dragon Blade doing just fine, and that is finally going to be a point they take for Canada, it looks like.
Yeah, that was very close, but XQC made a big play with the Primal Rage, knocking everybody back while Shadowburn was focused down with an Orb of Discord. And from there, because they had the sound barrier to engage, not taking any of that initial poke damage, Agility's also making plays on the back line. When you have so many DPS characters, if that Genji gets on top of you with that Dragon Blade, he can cut through 2 or 3 people very quickly. And that's what happens. So Canada barely escapes, but they have a long and difficult road in front of them as we move through the Westworld part of Hollywood if they want to win this map.
You don't see a lot of holds in the Westworld phase here, but with the amount of time Canada has left, you got to be worried. Surefour, though, with the early kill onto Sharik, they're going to trade early on. Canada approaching with caution for the moment.
Yeah, still trying. Agility's trying just to get the best of Shadowburn, and with that constant Orb of Discord, Canada's going to find a couple of kills. So Rolf calling the targets out, having Agility's follow up on them.
Payload's moving.
It is moving, and there's still 1.5 minutes, so They can win a couple more fights here, and they'll find themselves at least with a shot at matching Russia's point C take.
Yeah. Canada with a great first fight here.
So if you're Russia, what you want to do now is continue to delay, but don't use ult, and then commit to a final, just pre-point B ult fight.
Yeah, trying to buy some time now with the Primal Rage. Canada just backing off and kind of waiting that out. They used their sound barrier really early, but they're getting kills. They were able to push forward and force a bit more of a fight there. And that looks like that just might be point B.
I think it
Probably
is.
will be, yeah.
Zhao didn't get anything done with the tactical visor that he popped over the cart. And Canada basically just has a sound barrier, and that's about it. So they're going to come in very strong. They picked off targets very quickly, and all of a sudden, Canada seems to have gotten their shot calling in order, and particularly their engages. They're finding those DPS heroes now in the initial pickoffs, and that's what they need to do.
Well, looks like all they needed was a bit of a warm-up. Just do the same attack 3 or 4 times, and then finally take point A and crush the Westworld phase, and now we're into point C here.
Yeah, Chow is going to be on the Diva now, so we are going to get those mirrored dive compositions for the most part, except for the Soldier 76 for Surefour.
Nice escape from Agilities there, getting back to his healers just in time. Missed that Helix rocket, but Surefour is definitely putting a lot of pressure on the Russian defense.
Getting that poke damage down. Nobody's really harassing him. It's a bit of a shooting gallery for him. There's just nobody on the back line at all.
Yeah, this is a problem for Russia right now. They need to do something about the Soldier 76. They're trying to. Mistakes is trying to get in there, but everybody else jumps on him. The rest of his team was dead. So Canada suddenly with a ton of momentum coming into this final phase.
Yeah, they could really do this right now. Canada has a minute remaining, and they're about to have another sound barrier. Meanwhile, Russia, at least they have some protection for the Dragon Blade with the sound barrier and Transcendence of their own, but they have to commit to this cart.
Oh, they're getting in there now. Agility's in the back line with the Dragon Blade. Takes down 2 with the dash immediately right off the bat. Transcendence for Russia, but it was a bit too late. Goodbye, Zenyatta. Forsaken taken down in Canada in prime position to finish this with some time on the clock, yet they've got that sound barrier to steamroll the rest of this fight. And as Sharik eventually gets burned down, I guess sound barrier for Russia is going to buy enough time for the respawns. Man, that looked like such a decisive fight at the beginning. With self-destruct though, might still be it.
Forsaken still there, has switched over to the Soldier 76, so Cart going to keep moving. Shao going to be debacked, and that should be about it. Canada going to actually finish with time on the clock.
Yeah, Shadowburn can't get quite back to the cart in time, and Canada with a better attack round.
It seems like when Canada starts winning fights, they can really entrench themselves well, but it's been of a tough grind. They have to make many attempts in order to get there. And we are going to see a minute 13 versus a minute of time bank.
Yep. If you end up finishing an OT like Russia did, you just get a minute back on the clock there.
They will be on the attack first. Not a lot of time. Certainly possible that we end up with a draw scenario.
I'm excited though, because finally, for Overwatch may be over.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
I don't want to jinx it, but like I've got a good feeling about this. I've got a good feeling because we've got a very tight match here on Hollywood. I've got high hopes for the rest of this series.
Okay. Well, this one's been exciting so far. Very back and forth.
And you know, back in the player area, Netherlands is watching this one really closely. They know they're going to have to play one of these teams for a chance at that spot at BlizzCon. And again, just to kind of like reiterate the pressure on Canada and Russia right now, whoever loses this one has to play against South Korea for that spot in BlizzCon, and nobody wants to do that.
No, definitely not. And they also don't want to run the Tracer or the Sombra anymore. They are going to switch Surefour over to the Tracer. So that composition has been tossed out the window for Team Canada's defense, and Russia will be going back with the same old, same old.
Well, if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? If Genji's not broke, don't repair it.
I think that's what they say in Overwatch in the future.
Yeah. I like how we're in the future, but the trailer at the end of this map is still just like a regular old trailer.
It's not even a hover trailer?
It's vintage, man. Here we go, Russia with the dive. Trying to get in there right away. Canada responding. Kind of pushing him out of the cafe for the moment here. Surefour does go down though. Forsaken managed to find that pick somehow. Ooh, we gotta be careful. Yeah, Rubicon getting a little bit too far forward. Getting taken out, and that's a problem. Zhao responds. Pretty even fight right now. The brawl is on. And Russia maybe, well, it's hard to say. Nobody's really pulling ahead at the moment.
Still alive, and so is Shadowburn, so the damage is definitely there as both Divas get desuited.
Yeah, that's right. Surefour takes out Chow in the end. Canada's still on the point. It looks like Russia will be pushed back for the moment. And with only 5 seconds left, they don't even have time for the team to reset. The respawn's coming in now. They're going for it. Canada, their respawn's getting back just in time at the moment too. Sharik taken out immediately though. And it looks like Canada may hold Russia. They won't get point A. No, Shadowburn.
Dragonblade may do it, Joe, and those were the necessary kills.
Oh
as Forsaken takes out XQC. So in the end, we may see the point actually capped. Rolf will be the last to follow the point. Shadowburn, an absolute hero with that Dragonblade.
I mean, everyone says Russian team's all about Shadowburn, and you can't argue with that after seeing that play. Russia on the verge of being pushed out. Shadowburn comes in. Nope. Time for a Dragonblade.
Okay, they capped the point, but now it's going to be how far can they move this limousine.
Yeah.
And with Canada having a nano-boosted Dragonblade in their pocket right now, they should be able to target down the Russian supports. Let's watch Rubicon, and we'll see what happens with him and Forsaken, and if they are the first targets here for Agilities.
I mean, this is a huge victory for Russia either way, because with only a minute 13 on the clock for Canada, taking point A is such a big threat. XQC going deep. Canada in the back supporting him. There's the sound barrier as XQC gets a little bit low here. Russia, it's time. Agilities has the nano blade going after Rubicon's got the sound barrier. This is using up so much time. He gets the kill in the end. Dragonblade over. Oh, but he does get both supports though. It's going to be tough for Russia to hold on to this one. The OT push is real.
It definitely is, and Agility's still coming here over the top. Shadowburn getting chased down.
Wow, Agilities.
Should be about it. Finally, the nano-boosted and sound barrier Dragonblade may have done the work. Has to get away from Sharik, though he's at 1 HP.
Oh my gosh, now he's at 0, but man, he survived for a long time. Unfortunately, though, Diva survived long enough for Russia to get back on the cart again. Surefour takes out Forsaken, so the support's under threat yet again. Mangachu, though, popped out of the Diva suit. He's not going to last too long. And Shadowburn and Sharik looks like they're going to be able to finish off the remaining members of Canada and get a little bit more distance on this payload. And man, in this long OT push, every little bit counts.
Yeah, especially Canada's only going to have 13 more seconds to mimic this feat. And
oh, this is so frustrating for Canada.
Their first push onto point A when they tried on Hollywood on attack wasn't very inspiring. Shadowburn coming back with a Dragonblade of his own. It's going to be matched by Agilities.
Yep.
With some quality aerial sword combat coming in.
Here we go. Double Dragonblade at the same time. Joe Meister goes down, supports, dropping like flies. Agility coming out for the moment ahead. Shadowburn taken down by XQC. So Canada getting the edge in this fight. Mistakes, I believe that pulse bomb was absorbed.
It was.
And there we go. Canada going to hold the payload, but man, that moved way farther than I think Canada's comfortable with.
It definitely did, and there was a moment in time there after point A where Rubicon didn't quite have the sound barrier yet, that if Canada had moved forward a little bit more aggressively, if they had gotten the kill onto the Lucio with the nano-boosted Dragonblade, they may have had a chance to stop it much earlier.
I like Russia's idea, though, with that early attack. Just go hyper-aggressive. You know you're going to lose people early on, but with the minute that they had, they knew that if they could just get some picks for Canada, against Canada rather, they could get their response back before Canada could get there too, and you can grind the point out that way. If you're Canada right now, that's a lesson, right? You take what Russia did and you just do it yourself. You look for 2, maybe 3 picks and trust that your respawns are going to get there before theirs.
Yeah, you definitely do. Just a replay of Shadowburn's last-second Dragonblade.
Yeah.
To take that point A. And so now Canada, only 13 more seconds than Russia had. 1 minute 13. See Mangachu sighing. Gotta keep it together in a high-stress situation.
That's a tough one, though, man. I mean, you don't see too many teams push the payload as far as Russia did in an overtime situation like that. So, you know, Canada likely looking at being 1 game down in this series after this round, but who knows, you know, anything can happen. They're going to give it their best shot.
They struggled. They struggled with the dive.
They did. They really did.
Maybe they've cracked the Russian defense right now. Russia,
we'll see.
They're not going to run the soldier this time. Will just be Chow on the Diva. So both teams doing something a little bit different on their second defense.
All right, hiding around that building. A little bit of cover there for Canada as they get ready for the dive. There we go. They're going in the side, actually. little bit of an interesting, wow, nice pick on the Sharik, actually. They didn't go up in the cafe.
He
They
got
drew
caught
him
in the
down.
corner,
That's
so-
right, and they took advantage of that. Great start for Canada already. Oh, but they lose XQC. Russia striking back a little bit here.
And that's it. Shadowburn
Oh,
also
that's rough.
taking Surefour down. These are going to have a tough time. Rolf needs to figure out how to get out of here, but he's going to die very late.
All right, Mangachu's on the point right now. He's gaining some control meter. If Agilities can stay alive and they can get the respawn
He needs to
back.
get out. If he gets desuited,
what
they're
a
going to have a
bummer.
huge problem.
Yep.
He cannot get desuited.
XQC back. They need to get some heals on this Diva. There we go. Orb of Harmony goes for the big health pack. Got to get back in there.
That
Didn't
was
even
so
get the first
close,
pick there.
Noah.
It really was.
If he had been desuited right there, there was almost no way Canada was going to be able to come back and win this one. But now he's maintained the mech.
Time
And
for
Agilities
That's right.
has the Dragon Blade.
Dragon's Blade time for an OT battle. Agility's not finding the targets he's looking for right away. Rolf, though, finding a pick on the mistake. Shadowbird with his own Dragon Blade waiting a bit longer. He's got it. Rolf just firing in, trying to keep his team alive. But now the zoning Diva comes in for Chow. There's the Transcendence. Oh, can he get to his teammates in time? Not quite to save any lives, but maybe can get a bit more damage done. There's a Pulse Bomb. Used a bit late. That Diva was already desuited. Surefour is still on the point, though. Canada, they just can't hold on. And it looks like Russia is going to eventually grind this one out. Yep, there we go. Russia will take Hollywood, but it was pretty close.
And Shadowburn again comes up with the big Dragon Blade.
Yep.
That time to control Agilities. He had the Orb of Discord on him, but targeted Agilities down, got the necessary kills to clean up that match, and Russia will hold on for a Hollywood victory.
You know, I think what you said earlier is really kind of the theme of this match, or it's going to be anyway, where you just cannot beat Russia at their own game right now. The dive comp that they have, the efficiency, the polish that they have on executing it is not something that Canada looks like they can match right now. So if you're going to beat Russia, I think you need to be a bit more flexible than we saw on that map.
You have to be clever. You have to do something unexpected, right?
Yeah.
That's going to be the ticket to victory
You have to
for
channel.
Canada. Because if we think about the Dragon Blades, yeah, sure, in this particular moment, there were two great Dragon Blades from Shadowburn that ended up pushing Russia over the top, both one on attack and one on defense. But it's that Russia consistently this weekend across all of their opponents has had more value out of Dragon Blades. They understand how to play around it
Definitely.
better, whereas Agilities has not synergized with the rest of the team in the way that we're used to seeing him on Immortals do that. And it's been more hit or miss for him as a player, even though when he's not using that Dragon Blade, his accuracy with the shurikens, his dashing has been fantastic.
Yeah, very true. Canada needs to dig deep, maybe channel their inner Junkrat, their inner Reinhardt Zarya, maybe. I don't know.
We'll go for the Pharah and the Hanzo. You know,
Yeah, whatever.
Mangachu can definitely run that, and I think
Yeah,
that
sure.
if you're Canada, you need to try and test Chow's Diva and see how good it is. If it's going to be able to shut down potentially a McCree from Surefour or a Pharah from Mangachu.
Well, one thing's for sure is the dive is not working for Canada yet. They need to make a change, and we're going to go on to our control map in just a minute, see what they pick. And
Ilios.
Okay, Ilios. Well, you know, that's a map where you certainly can run the Pharah.
Yeah, you can. So
Yeah, you can also open up some nice sight lines on Ruins maybe for Surefour to use that Widowmaker. Arguably McCree, I suppose, too. It's an interesting choice, though. You know, and possibly Canada, too, just trying to throw Russia off their game a little bit since it's not a map we really see picked a lot.
yeah, it definitely isn't. And we do see, as you said, the Widowmaker on here quite a lot. And a player like Surefour can pull it out.
We will be starting on Ruins, too, so there's going to be an opportunity right off the bat for him to try it. And the Pharah, too.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to be going for the Tracer, so perhaps
okay.
another attempt here at the bread and butter dive composition. Both teams showing mirrored comps right now with 20 seconds left. So I think that's what we're going to get.
Yeah, so as you can see, yeah, Ilios is going to be our control map for this 4-map series. And I do question it if they are just going for straight-up dive, which it looks like they are. Canada in the red there, Russia in the blue. As you can see on your screen right now, looks like pretty standard dive from both teams.
That's what they're going to do.
Yep, Canada saying, you know what, we can execute it better than we did on Hollywood, and we're going to do it on Ilios. So here we go.
I'm going to stick on Sharik right now, see what the initial dive situation is going to be, if they're Both teams are going to be happy with poking for just a moment before the control point opens up. They're looking for those vulnerabilities. Surefour down in the pit right now, shooting up at Sharik from the flank.
Yeah,
There.
Sharik just taking some hits, giving the supports a bit of ult charge, I suppose. Mangachu popped out of the mech early, though. Wow, didn't see how that happened, but man, must have gotten some good angles on the backline. Shadowburn takes on Agilities, and uh-oh, despite the kill from XQC, Russia seems to have found the early picks, and they should be able to control the point early. Yeah, they do get that control percent building.
Yeah, XQC has to get out of there alongside Surefour. Not sure what caused that DMEC, but Russia taking advantage of it. That's perfect for them. That's where you want to go in and get the dive. They can't stop the damage anymore with the defense matrix, so they got everything that they wanted, but very curious that Mangachu would have been in a situation to get DMECs right there.
I really wonder how he got back there. I think what happened was probably mistakes, just finding a really good angle on him and getting him to the back line being annoying. A little bit of a fight on the payload. Mangachu out of the Diva suit yet again. That's another kill. I mean, mistakes. It was him pretty much both times as far as the majority damage going on that Diva. And man, mistakes just going wild right now. Rolf dodges a pulse bomb, but he's not going to be able to dodge the rest of those bullets. Joe Meister taken out as well.
I mean, Surefour doing some work in the back line of Russia by grabbing a support kill, but there's already been too much damage done to Team Canada. And the value that Russia is getting out of Chow on the Diva is disproportionate to the value right now that Mangachu is providing on the Diva, because the defense matrix is just up for so much longer.
It seems
on
like
Team Russia at the moment.
Yeah, it seems like everybody in Canada, when they approach the point right now, is kind of spreading out and doing their own thing. And that kind of leaves Diva wondering, what am I supposed to be doing right now? And it leaves you exposed to get DMEC pretty fast. XQC coming in, Transcendence for Russia as Canada tries to put the pressure on. Shadowburn looking for that back line. All right, has to deal with the monkey in the meantime. Sharik's got Rolf though, so it's okay. Now Agilities with the Dragon Blade. Gets Rubicon, gets Shadowburn. Good start here for Canada, and they may be able to flip this point.
Yeah, but how long has it taken them right now? Mangachu,
Quite a bit.
And they get popped out of his mech, and Sharik's still alive. He's got a primal rage just to make sure they get to 99%. And that's going to be a good move for the Russian team. They're going to punch Mangachu in the end. Everybody has already been cleared out.
Whoa, they couldn't flip it. A lot of that control meter dropped back down again. There's overtime. Somehow, some way, Russia managing to just win the war of attrition there. And they may be able to just take Ruins right here.
And here's the finisher, Doa.
Yep.
Last time we saw Shadowburn saved the Dragon Blade, so on his respawn, he's going to be the one popping out all that damage. Executes Surefour with a quick slash of the sword on the side of the point.
And Shadowburn is so good. Watching this guy saving that Dragon Blade, knew that if he just held onto it, he could come back and take out the stragglers on Canada and win the round. And they did. That's Ruins going to Russia.
I really don't think if you're Canada, you can continue to play mirror comps. I don't think this is a strategy
agreement with you.
that is going to be working for them.
I don't think anyone can argue with that right now.
So I hope that they bring something else out on the next point. And at least right now, I'm excited because there is a pharmacy selected for Well, which is going to be the second point. And they may go with a triple DPS.
When we saw this map pick right away, we were saying, oh, this looks like a map you want to run Pharmacy on. Didn't run it on Ruins, though.
Here it is.
Running it on Well.
We got it now. Russia will change nothing.
Of course.
And so, is this the ticket for Canada? Showing some depth to their composition. Mangachu, an excellent Pharah player.
Definitely is. Joe Meister goes down early, though. Mistakes has just been such a thorn in the side of Canada, or really more in the behind of Canada, as he comes in for those support kills in the back. Sure, he does get knocked off probably by that concussion grenade, but hey, he got a support kill before he did, so it's okay. Russia fighting over the point right now.
That's going to be Canada most likely with the first cap here. Rubicon's going to have to sacrifice himself just on the delay.
Yeah.
And now Canada going to do some work. Mangachu playing the chokes, playing the angles, and making sure they take that poke damage before they can get in. Back up with the rocket jump now.
That good start for Mangachu. They've already got the res up for Rolf as well, so Canada with a lot of opportunity to just hold this point quite a while. See what he can do.
How's Canada going, or how's Russia rather going to reapproach this? They're going to take a far flank away into the building on the side so that they're out of the range of this far. This Zenyatta has been zoned out for the rest of his team.
That's a big deal to zone Forsaken, but eventually Mangachu has to come back to the well. Maybe looking for a good concussion grenade. We'll see. Doesn't need it. Shriek does go down. A little bit of help from his friends.
And now who's going to actually take care of this Farah? Rubicon and the other support Forsaken have to be pushed off the rest of their team, and 50% there for Canada right now, and they've made it look easy. Russia just can't get past this barrage of rockets.
Well, you can see Mangachu showing Shadowburn a lot of respect too. He's staying much farther back than you see a lot of Faras do on this point, and you just don't want to give Shadowburn the opportunity to get close. And if you don't, it's tough to get rid of that Farah if you're not running a soldier or anything like that.
Mistakes is taking a very long flank, but they know that, and so now we see Canada take the fight just to the front, choke.
All right. Well, Chow coming up with that D.Va. Everybody's trying to get to that Farah, but hasn't worked out quite well too yet. There's the barrage. Mangachu ready to go with it. Knocks the Farah back down again. Defense matrix, as soon as that runs out, it might be barrage time here. Doesn't even need to worry about it. Canada nearly up to 90%. You know what? I think this is working pretty well for these guys right now.
I think it is. And Russia,
what do you know?
They're not swapping off onto anything that can actually kill this Farah, so it looks like they will just be content to lose well. Where's the barrage? Okay, they're going to have to come in with the sound barrier, but this is going to be pretty brutal. Agility pulls out the blade, and he's going to start getting onto the back line here of the supports.
Yeah, I can't quite finish off Forsaken, but he did zone the Zenyatta out well enough that Shadowburn couldn't survive the assault from XQC. And meanwhile, Mangachu feels like king of the world right now, man. Nobody's touching this guy. Uh-oh, that self-destruct can be a bit rough. Gets behind the building in time, though.
Couple more rockets to the face, though, chipping away at that D.Va's health. It keeps trying Xiao to get in the face of this Farah, but it's never very effective.
It's frustrating, you know? Frustrating for Russia, but Canada, a little bit of momentum getting built up for these guys, and it came from the composition switch. Hey, what do you know, guys? Russia's really excellent in dive. You can't quite match them there. You got to make some changes, and they did on well, and it worked.
And that's what you need, that versatility. So force Russia into something else, force them to play maybe a Farah themselves. Reminder that Shadowburn is himself a good Farah player.
He is.
From what we've seen from his time on FaZe.
He doesn't need to bring it out too often, but when he does, he's performed pretty well.
So that's maybe the ticket. Russia may finally, in this tournament, be moved to play something slightly different, but of course, as I say that, the answer is no, Noah.
Well, you know, it's a 4-map series. They can lose this one, right? I don't know. I wouldn't want to risk it.
They'll ruin our 4 Overwatch for the weekend.
I know, yeah. What happened to 4 Overwatch? Come on, Russia. All right, Canada coming in again. They're running the pharmacy, unsurprisingly, and Lighthouse is another one of those points where you can really just kind of stay back and rain rockets down. Look at that. Already mistakes taken out by the Farah.
I mean, it's really dangerous. That one damage-boosted rocket body shot will one-shot a Tracer. So if you're playing the right angle, Tracer blinks around a corner straight into a rocket, you are going to have a bad time. And that bad time for Russia is starting now as Canada gets the first cap on the point.
Well, Russia swapping. There we go. Shadowburn on the Farah, now Forsaken over on the Mercy. So, for the first time in this tournament, a team has gotten Russia to change their composition up. And now we'll see if Canada can handle the mirror pharmacy.
Yeah, except they don't have a D.Va. Remember, this is triple DPS, and Shadowburn actually finds the other shot onto Surefour, so both Tracers taken out by Farah in this match.
Yeah, well, neither team running a D.Va right now, kind of something we don't see too often. Mangachu a bit low. Oh, my bad, Russia's got the D.Va.
Yeah, they're trying to just do it with a 2 DPS, so they do flip the point after the kill onto Surefour, so taking advantage of that defensive matrix to block some of that incoming damage and open up some space for Shadowburn's Farah.
Yeah.
Now Chow, let's take a look around, seeing if he can find where that Farah is going to be coming from. Have an answer to that. I see them coming over the buildings.
Now, how the trick is that a lot of pharmacy teams kind of rely on taking the point first and then holding it. It's a little bit tricky to retake sometimes.
Yeah, definitely can be.
Yeah. They're trying, though. Canada onto the point right now. They've gained a little bit of control meter. But so far, Shriek has been pretty hard to dislodge. There's a Rezo coming in from Rolf. This is the fight. They need to win this one. Chow a little bit on the low side health-wise. Chasing away the Winston, though. There's a self-destruct, a little bit of zoning going on. Russia still holding onto the point for the moment.
Slowly, Canada getting the kills they need, though. Now, the res actually resulted in no kills on the side of Russia during that res, so they got a lot of value out of it, more than you typically see for a 2 or 3 person resurrection.
Yeah, we've been seeing a lot more tempo reses lately, but that was a big one, and it gets Canada the flip back again. Mangachu coming through with the Pharah once more.
Both Lucios with that sound barrier, but as you said earlier, Joe, it is hard to retake with a Pharmacy.
Yeah. Some smart shots from Mangachu there. You saw him shooting at the top of the dome instead of the characters trying to get a little bit of splash damage in there. Nice little trick there.
Tough to get those kills, so you basically have to hit 2 consecutive body shots if you actually want to deal sort of permanent damage.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit of poking there on the Forsaken. He's going to try and reset. He's got to get the kill
reset.
on
there
the Shadow Burn.
Agilities.
He gets it, the kill with XQC as well onto Mercy, so that was a great use of it. The Genji reset. Big play on the Pharmacy. That's going to delay Russia by quite a bit.
Get that dash reset when you activate the ultimate. And Agility's putting it to good use.
All right, so now maybe one more good attack left for Russia here, but they do have the resurrection. Thing is, Rolf bought enough time to get his res back online too without Forsaken using it into Agilities again.
Wow, Forsaken just not in the right place at the right time. Dies once more. Far versus Far, Shadow
Where's
Burn.
the res? There it is. Okay, 2 down, 2 back up.
Yep, barrage for Mangachu though. He was ready, not a lot of people stopping him. Yeah, he gets killed by the pulse bomb, but Canada still winning this fight for the moment. Russia nearly flipped it back, but Agility's there to finish off the stragglers. Nice last headshot on the Shadow Burn. And Canada, Agility's securing it. There we go. So Canada able to take Ilios, and we've got a tie series. No more for Overwatch.
No more for Overwatch indeed. And that was such a treat. Over those 2 maps, both Agilities and Shadowburn showing up huge on Genji. That was some clutch Genji play to close out that map. Agility's got everything done for his team.
Yeah, and Mangachu really kind of showing his strength on that Pharah as well. I talked to that guy a little bit before the match today, and he's like, "Oh man, I'm so nervous today, you know. But at least I just have to play Diva," is what he said. And his Diva's he's been pretty good, but it's nice to see him on the Pharah. Certainly, it did the trick. It's what they really needed to win that match.
Yeah, I think that's been the big difference maker, right? Yeah. Having that variation, and we saw Russia try and go toe to toe and bring out that same style of composition, but this time Canada gets the better of them, and we will head into the halftime at a 1-1.
That's right. So we're going to take a quick break, guys, and when we come back, Russia versus Canada continue to battle it out for that #1 spot in Group F, trying to avoid that match against South Korea. Don't go anywhere. Overwatch World Cup will be back right after this.
We are hope.
We are honor.
We are courage.
We are justice.
We are compassion.
We are determination.
We are harmony. We are Overwatch.
The Overwatch World Cup 2017 is brought to you by Omen by HP, T-Mobile, and Blizzard Entertainment.
Welcome back, everyone, to the halftime show here for what has certainly been an incredible matchup between Canada and Russia, currently tied at 1-1. And we started off with a really good game on Hollywood. At first, it didn't look like it was going that well for the Canadians, but they were able to answer back. I guess, sorry, we will talk about that because they started off, I believe Surefour was running the Sombra at the start of that, and it just wasn't ideal.
No, yeah, you can say that. I mean, he did land a fairly good EMP there. However, there was no follow-up from his team whatsoever. So I was happy that he fairly quickly switched off of that Sombra. The rest of the game was meh. I just felt it's weird that they tried so hard to go toe-to-toe against Russia on that dive because they were just not able to compete like that.
Yeah. Reinforce?
Yeah, I think that they played a bit... They didn't play like they have been doing the past weekend. They were a bit too excited, perhaps, especially on their dive comp. XQC taking his liberties, jumping far in with agilities. Mangashul being left somewhere in between the backline and front line, and it just all just fell apart. The times we saw signs of life from Canada was when they played together as a stack on the payload, especially during the second and third phase on the payload. So they just shined when they played more together on the payload, and they should keep doing that.
I tell you, we were teasing the Shadowburn agilities, you know, like Genji v Genji, full anime over here, and we got it. I mean, I have to say, we've seen some incredible plays on the Genji.
Yeah, it's been very Sugoi.
Yeah.
That's
you're worse. So, James, you know, over to you here. Shadowburn, though, has not disappointed. His Dragon Blades have been absolutely insane.
Yeah, that's been the entire story of Shadowburn this weekend, right? Mechanically, he's gifted. His shuriken aim is just so deadly, and then once he gets that Dragon Blade, he builds it up so quickly that he's able to find these windows of opportunity to just be able to wreck half the team by himself. And then we got to see some of his versatility there, but unfortunately, it came a little bit too late, you know, with that pharmacy swap-off. It just didn't pay out for them, but we saw it honestly just came down to the difference between Forsaken and Rolf. Rolf was just able to get that res out there, get the tempo reses for them, and Forsaken was just struggling to actually build that up.
Yeah, well, you know, you talk about the Ilios game here, and I think we should just go ahead and address it. Reinforce was having a fangirl moment with the Pharah.
Oh, yes.
Pharah. What is it about that battle that makes you excited?
I mean, that was top 10 Pharah battles 2017 for sure. I just love that. Well, Shadowburn, famous for his Pharah play early on in Overwatch. But he's been playing on 150 ping. It's not easy hitting rockets in those conditions, but here on land, he suddenly brought it out. And I was just gushing all over the place. That was one of the best Pharah duels in like forever. I just gotta put it out there.
They were definitely trying to mind game one another there. We saw on Well the prominence of Mangachu when he took to the air. Alternatively, yesterday when you know, Turkey tried to do the same thing, take to the air against Shadowburn, trying to exploit the lack of hit scan DPS in their composition. Shadowburn was like, oh, you want to go in the air? Oh, I live in the air, dog, even though I don't have wings. Check this out. And he's like climbing like a crazy person. He was getting all the kills. Not the case this time here.
No, I think Mangashu played a lot more passive. I mean, he plays towards his spawn. So Shadowburn really couldn't reach him. I mean, we saw Russia trying to focus him down, but they just couldn't get into the face of Mangashu. And really good positioning from Mangashu throughout. I mean, the Pharaohs like Matt Age and AKM is another good Pharaoh. They plays a lot in your face, trying to get close, hit the rockets from not so much great distance, but Mangashu playing a lot more passive, and it turned out to be great.
Are you a good Pharaoh?
Look, I played a lot of Quake. I know my rocket's okay, but I'm not gonna bring it out on land.
All right, guys. Well, you know what? I hope you're ready, because once again, it's time for T-Mobile Unlimited Gaming Break. Yes, every time, nailed it. Player in discussion this time around over on the Canadian side is going to be Agilities. We didn't get to really touch on him too much in this particular game, but he has had moments of brilliance, James. So I'm going to take this over to you. What is it about Agilities that makes him such a special player?
Yeah, so initially, you know, we were criticizing his Dragon Blades. He was going a little bit too far, but that is because it's a symptom of him playing on Immortals, right? Immortals, 3-time champions, Winter Premier, Carbon Series, and Contenders. Initially, during Winter Premier, you know, they were able to rely more upon grim reality, but then when it got towards more of a dive meta, they relied heavily on agilities, and he was a playmaker for that team. And so we are seeing it. We saw it on Ilios in particular, where he was able to just shut down Forsaken's Mercy, shut down even Shadowburn's Pharah there, and we're seeing the playmaking potential coming out from him, and he's just he is so young.
That play at the end there was so sick.
He pulled a real Shadowburn. Like what we saw from Shadowburn yesterday, that's what we saw from Agilities in that very last game. And yeah, we did criticize him a lot for his Dragon Blades. However, I guess a lot of those Dragon Blades we criticized also came down to the communication within the team. So he must have been a little bit unsure on when to use it and how to use it and how to combine it with the rest of his team. But other than those, everything else was really spot on from him. So he's really stepping it up.
That's right. Well, guys, we had an opportunity to catch up with Agilities, get his thoughts with our very own Malik. Let's check it out.
All right, Agilities, how you feeling, man?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm good, man. Excited to watch the young gun do his thing this week.
Thank you.
So this is your first World Cup experience, man. How's it been so far?
It's been really good so far. We had that show match at E3 that went, I mean, it was fun. Didn't go too good first, but...
I like that you're being positive.
I mean, so far it's been a great experience here in Poland. I really like the city, and everything's just going good.
Word up, word up. So you, man, you are, representing your country, living in LA, the lavish pro gamer life. Tell me how that's been for you, man, because you're young. A lot of people don't even know you're 17.
Yeah, I'm 17. I just moved in the team house late June, at the end of June. So I've been there for about a month now. I'm just starting to get used to it and everything, but I'm really liking it. I mean, we have the house 3 minutes away from the beach, so we go all the time, and it's just it's a great experience.
Word. What should I expect out of you this weekend? Do you think that if you disappoint your boy Grim, watching back home, is going to get on you for it?
I think he will. I mean, he tried out for the U.S. team, and I think we have like a very competitive nature, but we're also very jokey with each other. So I think he'll make some fun, but in a good way.
Right. Well, man, I'm looking forward to watching you, man, do your thing. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another T-Mobile Unlimited Gaming Break.
All right, and there you hear it right there. I just want to make sure I heard the interview properly, you know what I mean? So that I can hear Agility's his young kid just tearing it up, man. Super
17.
impressive.
Yeah.
17. When I was 17 years old, I was not good at video games.
I'm 22.
And I'm 20. I'm about to be 30, and I'm still not good at video games.
Zoe and I are just
Can you please not?
All right, well, let's talk about this upcoming match here, Reinforce. I want to get your thoughts. What will Russia do going into this?
I think they're going to keep playing the same composition. We've seen the Tracer and the Genji 2-2 comp, and it's been working out great for them. I want to reiterate what Monty said the mid-game. I don't think Canada can go toe-to-toe with the same composition anymore. I think they need to find something else to rely on. We saw the Pharah on Ilios. Maybe bring out the Sombra on the Assault maps, even though Rolf hasn't looked great on it. But I think they need to find a niche pick on every map going forward in this series.
It's going to be very important for them to see if they are able to recover off of losing 2 straight there in the matchup. I believe we should be getting ready for that any second now. I know everyone at home is eagerly anticipating it. Part of the reason why we have the halftime is so that the players can have an opportunity to catch up, talk with their committee members if necessary, and most importantly, strategize for the upcoming matchup. And here we go. Canada versus Russia. Match 3 coming up next. Let's send it back over to your commentators. It will be Monte Cristo and Doa.
Hey guys, Doa and Monte Cristo back for the second half of Canada versus Russia. And for the first time since the Overwatch World Cup phase in Katowice, Poland began, we have a tie match. Believe it or not, they are 1-1.
And let's talk about ties, Doa. If there is a 2-2 tie in this match, because they would have the same match record and be tied in the head-to-head, we will immediately go on to a best-of-3 tiebreaker on Oasis in order to decide who takes first place and who takes second place in this group.
That's right. Indeed. And talk about a map you can run some Pharah on from time to time. If it comes down to it, Canada's got a shot. But first, we have to see what they can do on Horizon Lunar Colony. It's going to be Russia's map choice since they did lose there. And, to be fair, this is a map that you really can't do much Pharah on the first point anyway. You can run on the second point, but you're a little bit more limited. So Russia could try for like a point A hold, perhaps. We'll see.
We did see the Pharah on one attack on point A.
You don't see it a lot, though.
And you're right. You don't see it a lot. And I think that's primarily if you know that the enemy team is going to be playing a close-range point defense.
Yeah.
As opposed to this more spread style. So Canada, they're going to go back. once again on this defense to a dive composition. Russia will be playing the mirror, so Canada wants to play that mirror comp once again.
All right, well, hasn't been working out the greatest so far, but different geography, maybe a different result. We'll find out. Russia on the attack in the red, Canada in the blue on the defense here on Horizon Lunar Colony. Russia kind of skirting around to the outside, as we see many teams do here.
That's going to be coming up to the second floor immediately as a unit. Diving in does get pooped back a little bit, but it's going to force Canada back onto the point itself right now as Russia slowly marches forward.
Yeah, the idea is to kind of claim that high ground area, push the defending team back, and then from there you can kind of figure out the best angle, and you can send your trace from the back lines like this too. Stakes has been quite good on this hero pick, but has to back off for a bit of R&R initially. Surefour goes down. Man advantage for Russia here.
Mistake's going to dash right back over as he sees Agility's coming on through, but now he's back onto the point itself and getting some damage down onto XQC.
Well, Russia is just kind of taking control of the point here. Canada needs to do something about this. While they lose Agilities, though, not a great start. Look at how much control meter Russia's built up already. Canada coming in a bit late. They were at a disadvantage in terms of numbers, but they just couldn't reorganize to properly assault the point. Should be a quick point A for Russia.
It's going to be a very fast point A, Doa, and even worse, Russia going to be coming through with the Shadowburn Dragon Blade and the Sound Barrier, so we need to keep an eye on Rolf and Joe Meister. They have to be ready for Shadowburn on this pickup. Both Shao and Surefour swapping over to Soldier.
Yeah, Russia swapping it over to the triple DPS, only relying on that Winston for the tank, as they want to come in with maximum damage here in point B. We'll see what Canada can do.
They're looking for the poke right now, so giving some time over. Joe Meister will be able to get the Sound Barrier down. That timing window has now elapsed.
Mangachu, what are you doing, buddy? Came down right in the middle of Team Russia, took a ton of damage. Agility is meanwhile picked off in the back line.
Forced out the Transcendence.
Yeah, it comes in. XQC did take down Chao, so that is one DPS out of the way. Surefour getting very low, though. Reflect, dash through. Shadowburn can't quite handle the pressure, though. And Canada manages to repel Russia, crucially, with one support ultimate still available.
That is absolutely huge for them. They still have the Sound Barrier, so keeping track that Shadowburn still has that Dragon Blade. Agilities will now be able to use his as well. So Canada weathers the initial storm, and that was one of the scarier parts for them. So
yeah, they made it through, though. That was a good defense.
Was a good defense. And it looks like Chao wants to go back down onto the low ground right now.
Yep.
Lots of people up on the top of the girders waiting to leap into the doorway on the second level. Not going to be an opportunity for that attack. XQC and Mangachu falling down from above.
Here comes Russia again. XQC kind of putting some pressure on that back line. Shadowburn has to back away, but he's still got that Dragon Blade if he needs it. And look at that, Canada. I don't think he's going to get a chance to use it now. Agility's under a little bit of pressure from behind, but XQC there to push Shadowburn back, take him out, and Russia held again. But this is okay. On the Russia side of things, you've got time to build those ultimates and go for a big push later.
You do, but you're not getting that much value because Canada uses one ult to repel you every time. This time it was the Primal Rage. And look at that, Rolf almost all the way back to another Transcendence. So this is getting rough. Russia needs to find a way to control the high ground because they basically just let the tanks of Canada fall on their heads.
Yeah, you need to come in from a different angle, and they're trying it. They're going in from the right side now. Let's see how it works out. A lot else to work with. They could try to commit right here.
They have to do something to get XQC off the top there. That's been a big problem for them to this point. And XQC is going to find Shadowburn as they dive back towards the spawn point. Now they've got to go.
It's been Russia backtracking already, but XQC has been great on this point. I mean, somehow, maybe a little bit weirdly, he's been able to get onto the crucial members of Canada and get picks every single time they've tried to push.
What's happening is that Shadowburn and Sharik are going too far in, and so he's able to reposition. He's been sitting exactly right here this entire time.
They know where he's going to be. I'm kind of surprised he's still getting these picks. They should know this. He's going to be up there. He's a gorilla. That's what they do.
Yeah, and you need to stop trying to play further back at the spawns and start attempting to control the point itself and force them to fight you there.
Well, if you're good at the dive, I don't know why you're not diving. Russia may be waiting for that last ultimate to go full 6 ult push. They finally do push XQC off the top there. Has to go back for a bit of healing. The spawn is so close on this map.
There you go, finally pushing him back, and now they have control over the point and the high ground. This is looking much better for Russia.
Yeah, Transcendence to keep everybody up for the moment. Sound Barrier on the side of Canada. They're going on the high ground to try to push Chao back.
Shadowburn.
Chao, though, doing a lot of damage as Shadowburn gets a couple kills.
And he's still got the Dragon Blade too. Pulls it out right now.
Yeah.
Mangachu gonna zone some off, does get Rubicon, but here comes Shadowburn. How much work can he do? Gotta get the D-suit onto Mangachu and get the slash and dash in as well.
He already did some pretty serious work with that Dragon Blade a bit earlier in this fight. Now just kind of helping out with the cleanup. Tank's still around though. XQC still there with the Primal Rage. And Russia, did they get the first tick?
They have
Doesn't
not.
look like it. No, it was so close. Now they did. Just now they were able to take that first tick. That's pretty crucial. Getting a little bit more time on it here as Canada sends in the reinforcements. The respawn's happening. Ooh, Surefour barely gets back for the heal in time. That was very close.
And there you go, because Surefour can turn it around right now, able to come back out of the spawn, take the Helix Rocket to Shadowburn, and Agilities gets the value out of the Dragon Blade. 50% on the meter. Russia now using basically everything. Same with Canada. We worked up some large ultimate banks from both teams right there, and resulted in a little bit of movement for Russia, but not the full capture.
Russia has a pretty big ult advantage in the next couple minutes, though. They're going to have
Rolf is
all
dead.
three.
Mistakes one clipped Rolf.
All right, that works. Russia has some more opportunity here as their defensive, or as their attack ultimates come online. Surefour in the back, got that attack visor ready to go. He has to wait out Chows, though, for the moment. And that's more time built up for Russia on the point. Here we go, Dragon Blade. What can he get with it? Shadowburn looking for targets. Nobody really there, but he can slash away at Mangachu.
Oh, that was a terrible error by Russia. They used the Transcendence in conjunction with the Dragon Blade, but everybody from Canada melted away from the point, so he couldn't get any actual kills, and those are two crucial ults used.
That was a pretty awkward push by Russia there.
They used it very late, and the other thing was the communication wasn't good. Sharik was actually jumping out of that fight when Transcendence was popped, so had Sharik stayed on the point inside the Transcendence, he may have been able to offer the necessary support to help Shadowburn finish off those kills, but
could be.
That was a communication error there for sure by the Russian team.
That's kind of surprising. You don't see them make mistakes in this tournament like that too often, but came at a good time for Canada. Still just one tick on point B for Russia. Agility's just poking away. There's the sound barrier. Is he going to go farther back? Russia looks like they might just fall back here, but it might be too late, actually. Yeah, looks like it is. Rubicon taken down, and Russia with just 35 or so seconds left to go. They're kind of going down to their last push here.
They are, Doa. Shadowburn not close to that Dragon Blade either. Meanwhile, Rolf and Agilities, that combo, Trance and Dragon Blade, can clear out the point, and Russia's going to have to stand on it with that combo in effect. I don't think they're going to be able to make this through unless they get a miracle kill onto Agilities to start things off.
Yeah. Rubicon's got to be really careful. He's been coming down the center each time, and Canada's picked up on that. They've killed him a lot, and he needs to stay safe. Coming out on the left now, and Agility sees a vulnerable back line, goes in. There's attack visor, maybe. No, Zhao can't take him out. Not a good start for Russia as Agility gets two with the Dragon Blade. Transcendence now, but is it too late? Certainly seems that way as Canada cutting apart Russia's hopes of taking point B here. Shadowburn nearly has a Dragon Blade, but he dies before he gets there. And without Shadowburn, without that Dragon Blade, Russia not going to take point B, and Canada with a pretty strong hold.
And they get Russia does get a few more percent. While we saw Agilities moving in, it went up to 63%. So there is a little bit more wiggle room earned by Russia. Remember, this is their map pick. So they should be feeling confident. And we'll see if they can use their dive composition on the defense as well.
Yeah.
It seems like they are going to be trying to use the Sombra. Now, they have run the Sombra on Forsaken sporadically this weekend.
I gotta say, though, that was the first time on the Russia side that we really saw them looking a bit uncomfortable, where the attacks just didn't look clean. The ult usage was a little bit messy, too.
Well, they miscalculated on that push with the Transcendence and the Dragon Blade as a team, and they took a little bit too long being bamboozled by XQC and Mangachu hiding up in the rafters, and they overcommitted on their initiations to some of those fights.
It was good positioning by Canada. I mean, if you look at the geography of that point, there's not a lot you could do as the attacking team if the opponents are sitting up there. You know, you kind of have to go in and then deal with it. That's not easy.
Yeah, Agilities used his Dragon Blade in a different way. Saw the soldier alone, so took the advantage, and I guess knew he could chain over into the Zenyatta as well. Figured he'd just go for the big combo right on the point, as Russia is going to be forced to fight on it, but still get some great value out of it nonetheless.
Yep, why not? Ooh, and I see a Pharah on that screen right now. Mangachu and Rolf going for the pharmacy on the defense perhaps here.
Yeah, exciting stuff. So can they use it? If you can snowball into point B, that's where Pharah really shines. You have all that verticality. You have the girders to hide behind as well. So could be nice for them. Russia, Sombra is going to be coming into play, so they will not have much to deal with the long-range shots. But Pharah isn't going to be able to get too far away and will be still vulnerable to the Genji on point A.
Yep. You can fire into the point with this far on attack here. You do see quite a bit. It's a high ground defense for Russia, though.
Well, they got to get out. They have to get back to the point now.
That's very vulnerable to those rockets. Need to be careful here. Surefour trying to take advantage of the chaos.
Gets
with a kill on to Sharik. Great start for Canada.
Mistakes very low as well, but he doesn't actually get finished off. Has to jump back to the point right now. Everything is in tatters. Canada coming out super strong here on their first push.
Wow, and I guess Russia just wasn't expecting the Pharah. You know, they kind of scrambled when they got that pressure from the rockets, and then Surefour just kind of went to town.
Well, Sharik got caught alone. Everybody on his team was trying to abandon the high ground against the Pharah. Sharik got carved off to one side, and Surefour gets the cleanup kill. So now we've got 7 minutes. Surefour will switch to the Soldier 76, and this is going to be a very poke-heavy Canadian attack.
It really does not get much faster than it did for Canada to take point A, and now they can kind of go for some of the slower economy pushes here to build up those alt meters. They can take their time here.
Pharah, they are very strong on this point.
Yeah.
If you get an advantage and you get those kills, there's not going to be any chance to get to the respawns because he can control the doors like this. This is so deadly.
That Pharah being in a position you always want to be in on that map. Meanwhile, Agility's just wrecking people, and that's going to be it right there. Canada, oh, never mind, some respawns coming in.
That's
maybe enough. No, that is it. And Canada takes the lead in this series 2-1. Oh boy, Russia suddenly staring at the prospect of having to face South Korea in those playoffs, and that is pretty terrifying.
It's just Canada looks so much better when they're playing their own style, when they're playing their own game.
Yeah.
And that was some impressive control, and we're seeing some of the flaws in the Russia roster come out with sometimes Shadowburn, sometimes Sharik getting just a tad bit too far forward, a bit over-eager on these engages, and Canada is punishing them by cutting off the rest of the team by using their tanks.
So when you're picking the next map, if you are Russia, you're definitely afraid of the Pharah. Now, both Dorado and Route 66, you can kind of run the Pharah on, but that last point on Dorado, it's really tough.
Yeah, you can't, really.
So maybe you go Dorado. It depends on what you're comfortable with, I suppose, too, but you know they've got to be thinking about the Pharah.
Yeah, both last points are difficult to run Pharah on, both with Route 66. And
yeah, that is true. That does apply to both, I suppose.
Yeah, you don't have that verticality, and you're constantly going to be worried about a Genji dashing through the air at you, either when you're in that warehouse or whether you're in the ziggurat at the end of Dorado. So
I guess I'm thinking with Route 66, at least you have those firing lines, and it's easier to get in position to push the payload with Pharah, but still not good.
Yeah, it's going to be Route 66 here for Russia, and I think that they're probably going with this because they have run the better Sombra. And remember, when we've seen Canada try to play the Sombra on Route 66 defense this weekend, it hasn't worked out well. For whatever reason, they can't coordinate well around the EMP. And while Rolf does his job in getting the EMP up quickly, he seems to die every time he uses it.
Right.
So I'd go for a strong Sombra map and have faith that Forsaken's going to be the better Sombra player right now, and I think that's what they're going to do.
I was actually talking to Mangachu about that exact thing, about Rolf's Sombra play earlier, and Mangachu was saying, well, you know, if you look, Rolf has this tendency of engaging the EMP fights with the translocator. Most Sombras will go in with the invisibility because you want to be able to translocate back out and live after you've ideally killed the Zenyatta, but Rolf, a little bit less experienced with that hero, going in with the translocator more often than not. And that's certainly costing them. So he's like, yeah, that's something we want him to work on. We want him to swap it up, go in with the invisibility like most other Sombras do. And if you can do that, obviously you can survive those EMP fights a lot easier as the Sombra.
Yeah, definitely. We've also seen Rolf die to enemies and Zenyatas more than once, too.
Yep.
It's been awkward, Canada's Sombra usage, to say the least.
Pro tip, if you're going to go in and engage with EMP, you want to be able to translocate out. Invisibility in, translocate out.
Or unless you have, a diva following you. There are exceptions, right, if your
Sure.
teammates are on the same page, but Canada's teammates have not been on the same page with them.
In general, the safer way to go is
Yes,
indeed. Translocate out. Yep.
So, Canada will be on the attack first. Forsaken has the Sombra selected right now.
Okay.
That's not going to be a surprise, and Chow will be playing the diva yet again. So, Rubicon on the Lucio, pretty much what we've seen from them so far.
Did you know that at the diner on Route 66, they advertise a famous Monte Cristo?
Try our world
You know that?
famous Monte Cristo.
Look at one of the other
actually
monitors right now. Hopefully
had
we can see that
no
on the...
idea.
I want to see that on the screen when we go to the map.
That is hilarious.
I actually have not... I don't know how I missed that, too, until then.
I never knew
Look at that.
that was actually in the game. But now when I play Route 66, I can legitimately tell people to eat me.
Look at that. Try our world-famous Monte Cristo. Yeah, but the diner is defunct now. It's closed down, so I guess we know how good that Monte Cristo was.
Oh, damn.
Oh! Owned!
I was owned.
Well, it's okay.
Not good enough, apparently.
I'm still fine with the Monte Cristo standing right next to me. I'll take that
Hopefully that's just me in the future and not me right now.
That's true, yeah. Canada on the attack here as we get things
Megachu
started.
is on May.
Oh, okay. Interesting choice for the attack here. Canada, though, to be fair, needs to swap things up. They are doing exactly that.
So they know what's coming. They know that they want to play around that health pack in the tunnel. So if you can wall it off with the May,
Exactly.
that can be the ticket to victory. And you can also stop them from playing around health packs with a Blizzard once you get your ultimate up. So the healing every 5 seconds or so on a Mega, not going to be as effective. And you can also just dodge the EMP.
Okay, but you can't dodge Shadowburn cutting your team to pieces.
Well, unfortunately, no. I think they wish they could
get out
dodge
of that. Yeah.
I think most of Shadowburn's opponents.
You can just watch in your ice block with your icy cold heart as the rest of your team dies around you. Okay, so Mangachu will swap over to that Pharah. I agree with what you were saying. I think that was a good idea in concept to start with that May, but they've certainly looked a lot more comfortable on the pharmacy, and that's what they're going to go with.
They also see that it's going to be Sombra and Genji and Tracer, so you're not too
Rubicon.
worried about it.
Look at that. Immediately, Mangachu gets a pick onto Rubicon. That Pharah's been so good. There goes Mistake. You just got to run the Pharah, man. It's so good. Mangachu. Forget that Diva. Pharah's what they need right now for Team Canada. That payload is really going to move.
That is Shadowburn going to be able to dodge his way back through the tunnel and escape death to rejoin with his team. They are going to have another opportunity here to defend, especially with Forsaken delaying the payload by just a little bit longer. Agilities with the Dragon Blade up has a chance here to stall out in the doorways. You can see he's waiting right now.
I thought he was
Seeing
just...
if he can get the good dash.
I thought he was just meditating, like considering the stones and rocks.
Well, that's a nice thing to do, but probably not while you're in combat, though.
I suppose. All right, there's the EMP. Forsaken goes down immediately, though. XQC with the kill there. Agilities pulls out the Dragon Blade. It's a brawl. Kills on both sides. Canada eventually needing to back away. There we go.
Shadowburn with the reflect kill.
Yep.
In the end, Mangachu still alive, trying to get the necessary damage down, but they've retaken this health back. Shadowburn is low.
Yeah. Shadowburn, you will not die. He's a ninja that doesn't die. There we go. Now he's a ninja that died. Canada back on the payload yet again. Russia scrambling a little bit here. XQC did take out Chow during that too. Forsaken somehow guns down Mangachu. So Russia striking back here on the defense. There's a hack on XQC, yeah, but they've got the sound barrier though to keep Canada up.
And punching people off the cart right now, off the cop. Don't punch cops. That doesn't end well for you, I promise.
No, I would not recommend. I would not. Try our famous Monte Cristo instead. Yeah, Canada takes Pointe. There we go. So they do get Pointe with a good amount of time left on the payload. So a good start for Canada.
Yeah, now Russia did a fine job of stalling that out there. They got more time than I would have expected given the circumstances and their rather hurried defense. Shadowburn again showing with a big Dragon Blade what he can do in terms of stalling.
Yep.
So Mangachu now
Sure,
flying in the open sky. Oh my!
Oh dear. That is a barrage. Well, only one kill, but it still did the damage. There we go, Agilities. Ping, just reflect onto Forsaken. And it looks like Canada is going to storm forward with a pretty definitive fight here.
That was an excellent collapse by Canada.
Yeah, it was.
Mangachu knew he was going to die doing that, but what he did was he turned the Diva around, and that left the supports open to Surefour as they collapsed on the flank. So coming around from multiple different angles, gets the D-suit as well, so he's feeling pretty good about that trade, and it's going to keep the payload continuing to move through the streets.
Pretty quick, too. 2:30 left on the clock. Canada well situated to push this the rest of the way if they can handle the engage from Russia. Here we go. Coming through the hallway, they're going to use the sound barrier to get everybody out there. Agility's going to wait it out, and he's got the Dragon Blade. Once the shield runs out, there it is right now. Immediately cuts down Rubicon, goes for the back lines again, doesn't survive, gets rezzed immediately. They'll roll there with the Mercy ready to go. And Canada
Shadowburn still has the blade, though. That's the thing. He's been holding on to it this entire fight.
Yep.
And the res comes through. Surefour gets 2 kills, 3 kills.
Chowie got demeched as well by Surefour. So despite Shadowburn having that blade available, didn't find an opportunity to use it. Canada is going to cruise into point C here with 3 minutes on the clock.
That is still time to work through the warehouse here.
It's a good amount of time.
Canada wants to push this as far as possible. No need to play that tiebreaker. If they can win this map, they will take that first place outright. Russia needs to have a strong defense here.
All right. They've got ults to work with. Mangachu over on Zarya now. That didn't get a... Whoa, I was going to say, how did he pick that up? I didn't think that pulse bomb was close enough. Both Tracers, though, picking up kills. Now the fight begins. Canada having to back away, though, as it looks like Sharik just going to use that Primal Rage to push Canada back.
And Mangachu making a lot of transitions here. Was on that Zarya ever so briefly, but now wants to go onto the Soldier 76.
XQC barely made it out. Mangachu, yeah, already on the Soldier 76 and already popping Chow out of that mech. Canada moving forward, and a big part of why this push is still working is because XQC barely escaped the last fight with about like 50 health left, maybe.
Here comes Shadowburn, though, trying to slice his way through the sound barrier and gets beaten to death by XQC in the Primal Rage. So that's going to be 2 big ultimates no longer there for Russia. Canada keeps moving forward.
I think XQC tried to get there to put the shield on the devault, but ended up dying. Either way, Canada still wins the fight, and that payload is moving pretty far.
That was a huge investment for Canada. Transcendence goes down, sound barrier goes down.
Yeah.
So Russia still able to hold on with the sound barrier. They need to get Sharik up back towards his Primal Rage once again. Agility's going to try and get this sound barrier out, and he will.
Yeah, mistakes already with the kill on the opposing Winston, though, and Agilities can't get anything done with that Dragon Blade. Mangachu has to run. Yeah, better to save that ult. You've got a minute 30 left. You can still take a little bit of time to get prepared for a bigger push.
You can, and you succeeded in your goal of getting that sound barrier. The value that you get for trading that for a Dragon Blade, much bigger for the team that uses the Dragon Blade rather than the team that uses the sound barrier. So work Rolf up to that Transcendence again, and that's where the TAC Visor can come into play.
Here we go. Mangachu on the high ground. Certainly showing us a bit of flexibility here towards the end of the series. He's spry for an old man.
He is jumping around in a warehouse. He's actually going to pull it out right away. He wants to. That's because Xiao got debacked.
Great angle, though, coming down with that. Does die to Shadowburn, but a good start for Canada. If they can definitively win this fight, they can push the payload the rest of the way, but mistakes, trying to say no to that one. Agility's looking for the kill to Forsaken. He gets it. And that payload looks like it might be ready to move pretty soon, but no, the tanks respond for Russia in time. Canada still getting those kills. Can they grind it out here?
Well, they're going to force the Primal Rage. 28 seconds to go. Canada still has time for another push, depending on when they're going to come back.
Well, they get that sound barrier. There's the Dragon Blade. Chow going down immediately. He gets the reflect. Agility's backs away, trying to zone the supports back into the spawn. The payload not quite moving yet, though.
Mangachu comes back, has to run back to the cart with this Sombra, but Forsaken looks like he's going to hold with this Transcendence. Surefour, the only one who's going to be able to contest this really in the overtime.
Well, he needs the world's best pulse bomb, and he didn't quite get it. So it looks like in the end, Canada, can they get the respawns there? They're trying. Mistakes with a couple kills, though. Joe Meister, sorry, man, I don't know if you can survive quite long enough to keep this payload going. Yeah, it was a valiant effort, but in the end, it looks like that's going to be it. Yep, Canada getting the payload nearly there. They didn't get 3 points, but that was still a pretty solid offense.
Yeah, it was. A lot of those switches to the end. I don't know about Mangachu coming back onto the Soldier. Sometimes that Zarya can be so good at creating the massive team wipe that you need to actually finish on that point C.
The scary part is that it does take a long time to build that Zarya ultimate if your name's not Zunba. So it's risky, right? When you only have about a minute 30 left, you're like, okay, maybe I can get one Zarya ultimate, and if we pair that with Surefour's Pulse Bomb, you know, then we're in good shape. But it's scary to kind of make that call. So felt more comfortable on the Soldier. It didn't work out, but they still got pretty solid push overall.
Yeah, they did. I also like poutine.
Yeah, poutine's pretty good, man. People may not realize this, but when we lived in Korea, we had a really excellent Canadian restaurant just like down the street from our neighborhood.
It was. We chatted about it the other day. Took our boy Reinforced there.
Yeah, took all of Misfits there, actually.
It was great.
It was.
We fed the Swedes poutine and Canadian food in South Korea. What a glorious globalized world we live in.
Exactly, yep. Well, I mean, what a glorious globalized competition we've seen these last 4 weeks in the Overwatch World Cup. Still one more group stage left next week in Santa Monica. Should be a lot of fun.
Now, I'm curious as we move into the Canadian defense. This is where they've been at their weakest, with Rolf on the Sombra, on defense here. They haven't been able to really hold off teams for very long, which has led to extended pushes. And can they do it better this time? Have they made those adjustments to Rolf's Sombra play and the way that everybody on his team plays around him as well?
Yeah, well, here are the stakes right now. If Canada holds, if they get the successful defense, they will win the match. They will take first place in their group, and they'll avoid that playoff match against South Korea. If Russia wins Route 66, we go to that tiebreaker best of 3 on Oasis, and then we just see who takes it.
Chili's actually causing some issues there early onto Shadowburn. Gets him very low right out the gate, but doesn't quite manage to finish off that kill.
Yeah, Canada really trying to hold that hallway where the hacked health pack is, and Rolf nearly 60% already towards that ultimate. Surefour goes down though, uh-oh. Got picked by Rubicon there on the side. Needed to back off for the health pack, but he didn't do it.
Just ate some left click straight to the head.
Yeah, that's rough, man. There's the EMP. Rolf does get the kill into Forsaken. So, a good start for Canada. Finally using that one.
Already much better than previously.
Much better, yeah. Oh, but Shadowburn may have something to say about this. Uh-oh, Chao's not done quite yet either. Canada finally gets the kill onto the Genji, and Russia looks like they're going to have to reset here.
Yeah, Rolf's still on the cart, though. Surefour is going to be able to heal up off the health pack, so Russia needs to take a breather right now, reset, and Canada has to move their defense a little bit further back while they wait for some respawns. Rolf up on top right now, but he's going to get gunned down by mistakes, found alone in the back line.
That chased him down pretty effectively, and that's a big problem for Canada here. As they try to hold the defense, there's XQC getting taken out as well, and it seems like things are starting to fall apart a little bit for the red team.
It seemed okay once they stabilized after that EMP, but respawn times not going to be in the favor of Team Canada, and the cart just keeps rolling towards point A right now. Still a significant amount of time on this clock. Shadowburn already trying to run some interference, and that's going to be point A taken for Russia.
Yep. All right, cruising through there. A little bit more time on the clock remaining going into point B than Canada had, but Canada does have a good amount of ults to work with. I know Russia does too, but if Canada can play defensively, be efficient, you know, maybe they can stall this one out a bit.
Yeah, they can, especially they have the EMP, and there's a huge open space. Rolf trying to find an angle, is going up onto the high ground right now to see if he can get an EMP drop down. That's why Forsaken is in that hallway.
Right.
Doesn't want to be caught in the line of sight.
All right, I hear a Dragon Blade, and I hear Agilities cutting people apart here. Canada coming in for the big defense, and that's just 2 ults used, I believe, there. No, XQC uses Primal Rage as well, so that's 3, but it does push Russia back for a bit.
Yeah, pretty aggressive on the attack, but Russia doesn't take as much damage as we might have thought.
And they don't really use any ults, too. They kind of just accept it and back away.
Yeah, they don't. Chao just has to lose his charge by switching to Torbjorn to get his mech back.
He didn't have a ton, so it's not the biggest loss.
Okay.
Yeah. Better to have the mech than the ult charge at that point. Russia coming in, mistakes at the kill. Uh-oh, Canada in a lot of trouble right off the bat here. Early picks from Russia.
Yeah, a quick dive onto the high ground, and they're going to win this fight without having to use their ultimates, except for pulling Sharik's Primal Rage out just to punch the remaining members off the cart. Late kill onto Mangachu, so Russia going to be moving quite far on this next push after that team fight victory.
I mean, the nice thing, though, is that Surefour was able to keep the payload stalled long enough that Canada will be able to defend it a little bit farther up than they would have been able to otherwise. So, could have been worse. Not great, but it could have been worse for Canada.
Sure zips around.
All right, it's worse.
Mistakes.
It's worse.
Yeah, these choke points are very difficult to deal with for the defending team.
Yeah, it's really hard to get back to this point as a defender. And Russia really kind of capitalizing on that. And again, you know, Canada looking very scattered on the defense after losing that initial fight.
Pushing through again, and the issue here is you have such a long walk back from the respawn, and your only choices are 3 very small choke points to walk through.
Yep.
So once the defensive team can just sit on these bridges and repositioning using Winston leaps, makes it hard to actually make an efficient push on the cart.
Oh, Canada trying to go in with the sound barrier used by both sides, and now as it wears out, Shadowburn comes in with the Dragon Blade. Looks for some juicier targets there, Surefour. Finished off by mistakes. I combined their names and it became Surefour. That's how it is.
That's good.
They've kind of melded Dragon Ball Z style, but there you have it. Russia able to take point B, and to be fair, like point B is one of the most attack-favored stretches in the entire game of Overwatch. It's so hard to defend that one.
It is, and it leads into point C, which is one of the most defense-favored. So
yeah, there you go.
But still 3 minutes, so Russia has the time to work with right now. And Canada run out of ultimates. Joe Meister dropped the beat on that defense when they were coming back through those chokes, so they're not going to have it for a while.
Yep. All right, Agility's going down early. Russia's still kind of rolling forward. They do trade kills here. So far, Canada kind of losing that defender's positional advantage here.
Yeah, but Russia had to use the Primal Rage and the self-destruct
Oops.
in order to make that defense. They're
again.
Losing the fight anyway.
Yeah.
So a bit rough there. Finally respawns. I mean, they can get some purchase and movement
This is rough for
the
Canada.
payload as Shadowburn dashes back-to-back nearly with his Dragon Blade.
And keep in
once
mind,
more.
as we turn the corner here, you're going to see that Russia does not need to complete the map. All they need to do is get it to that glowing square on the floor just over there, and they will tie up this series and force that Oasis tiebreaker. They are close.
They are definitely close. Shadowburn lurking in the rafters right now, waiting for the perfect opportunity to pull out his ultimate. We'll have to wait until the Transcendence is complete.
Yep, aggressive going in there with the defensive ultimate. Canada just pushing Russia back for the moment. 2 minutes remaining though, so Russia has the luxury of playing this one a little bit slower.
Chow has to swap off the Diva again just to remech himself.
Yeah.
So Meister going to be returning on the defense with the sound barrier, so staggering that with the Transcendence. And now, how is Russia going to play this? They know they have time.
Yeah.
They know there's a sound barrier up or will be up soon.
I think you just poke a little bit here and you go for one more economy push, and then should have a lot of ults to push it the rest of the way. In theory. Cross
Has to bite onto this one though. Agilities will be the first, and they're going to pop the sound barrier in defense.
Whoa, forget everything I just said. Both teams committing hardcore to this fight. No kills from that self-destruct though. No kills from the Dragon Blades on either side either. And finally, Russia starting to find those picks. Rolf does go down. Pulse Bomb does the damage. Where's the follow-up? Not a lot right now. Canada piling onto the point, trying to stay alive. And Sharik with that Primal Rage, able to maybe zone people into more kills for Canada. For Russia, rather.
Yeah, but the DPS are still alive.
Yeah.
Mistakes in Shadowburn have the damage to focus down targets off the cart right now. Surefour chased out of the way. Agility's taken out by some headshots.
It's getting close.
It's getting very close.
Oh, Canada needs to defend right here, right now. They could win the match if they can just hold Russia off for 35 more seconds, and a one fight here might do that. But Russia ready to push it through and force the tiebreaker. Shadowburn with the kill onto the Winston. Canada crucially has that Transcendence. Oh, but they're the ones getting people picked off, though.
Forsaken taking out Surefour again. Gets the clicks necessary on the Zenyatta to take out the DPS, and now the Trance on the cart may be the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, it's really looking like Russia might be able to hold. Shadowburn comes in and puts a period on the end of this sentence. That should be the fight. And Canada desperate to try to stop this payload. The respawns are close, but are they close enough? No, and Russia ties up the series. We are going to the tiebreaker.
We are going to go to Oasis, Doa.
Yep.
Will be a best of 3 on that map.
Wow.
But you have to say, Oasis, a huge Pharah map.
Definitely.
And with that in mind, I think it's still going to be an uphill battle for the Russian team because their compositions, we're going to have to see Shadowburn play the Pharah as well.
Yep. Finally have a pretty close match here at the Overwatch World Cup in Katowice. But we will see if Mangachu, the pressure's on for this guy right now. I mean, you know, again, talked about the nerves going into this one. I don't think I'm really seeing it in his gameplay. I think he's performing great, and they need his Pharah to come up big again. Like, that guy on your screen, I think, is right now legit the reason why Canada is even in a position to win this one.
Yeah, it's been their flexing for him into more comfortable roles, maybe a little bit less meta, not running that Diva. So I think we are going to see Diva Pharah, though, if we get anything but University. And if we get University, that point is often dictated by the better Sombra team.
Sure.
So that might go to Russia.
Well, we saw a lot of teams on University just rushing that big health pack down below the point with the Sombra. Used to see a lot of fights down there. So, you know, from Canada's perspective, if you don't want to run the Sombra, you can just run the Reaper and try to charge in there against it. We don't see that work a whole lot, but I'm saying
it can work.
You could try it.
It can work.
Yeah, it's tough to pull off, but basically I think if you're Canada, you're hoping you don't have to play on University.
Yeah, I think that's true, and this is such a tense moment because of the compositions that we might see, and with Diva still a crucial part of the meta, if Russia can take control, as Mangachu looks like he's seen a ghost right now.
Looks terrified, man. No, it's okay, dude. You're doing fine. Just chill out. It's fine.
You know,
I don't know if that's makeup or if he's literally about to faint. One of the two.
He looks like that meme dog that you're holding a cake. The cake is being held in front of.
You're right. Delicious cake. Delicious Pharah.
But that's the victory being held in front of him right now.
Yep. That's right.
Trying to remain calm.
A lot of pressure.
But it's okay.
Rolf,
You
too.
should just eat that cake, Mangachu.
You can have your cake and eat it too, if your name is Mangachu. That was a terrible rhyme.
It was.
I'm so sorry.
That was pretty bad.
I'm so sorry. Sudden death awaits us on Oasis, which is kind of the opposite of what an Oasis is for, really. Oasis is for avoiding death, but no, only sudden death on the Overwatch Oasis. Especially if you get in front of those cars.
It does provide instant death.
It does.
Via the map, so I guess it is living up to its name a little bit. It will be University.
Yeah, starting out on University, and so now the question is, what's Canada going to go for? You can run the Pharah on this point. It's not as great because you're a little bit bottled in. You're closer to the enemy, and so it's easier to get picked off by the Tracer, by more close-range heroes, but they're going for it. Canada with the Pharmacy. It's gotten them this far. Can it get them to first place in the group?
I am so surprised Russia is not running Sombra here. Sombra is incredibly powerful on this point because you always have the opportunity to drop down through that hole and pick up the mega health pack. So
I suppose it's a matter of comfort picks, really. I mean, they can run it, but they feel more comfortable doing the dive. It's what's worked great for them all tournament long, and so here we are.
Well, Sharik maybe have overextended a bit too much there.
I think so, yeah.
Chow tries to get some damage onto Mangachu, wants to finish off this kill, but the Mercy is there to give him the hand.
And this just frees up Agility to just do whatever he wants in the back lines. And yeah, this is this composition for Canada really working at its peak. Nice shot on the Rubicon there, and Canada going to claim the point early and easily. Pick that railings.
We heard Reinforced talking about the more passive style of play of Mangachu. His Pharah has been about controlling space and dealing the poke damage and basically punishing Russia when they overcommit to the engage by just firing the rockets and preventing any kind of support coming in for Sharik.
Yeah.
So it's been working to this point in time, and now we're going to see Shadowbird make that change with Forsaken to the Pharmacy themselves.
All right, Russia trying to jump onto the point right now. They get a little bit of the control meter built up, and Canada re-engaging here. It's a Pharah bat again, Shadowburn. Shadowburn swaps over to it. Pretty low there, needs to be careful. Does get the pick on the Surefour though, so it's a good start. Mangachu doesn't get anything with the barrage, but there's the res.
Huge
res! Four-man res for Rolf. And Canada with another chance. Here comes the Dragon Blade. Can he get the cut? Can he get the reset? Takes out Forsaken in the air. Oh, but Shadowburn shoots him down. He knew what angle he was coming from. And he's landing the rockets to maybe win this one for Russia. They do. Despite the res, they win the fight, and they basically had to win it twice there.
Yeah, they did, but even though they lost the fight, at least they got some more percent there for Canada. So Rolf has the resurrection, or will have it again relatively soon, because Forsaken, in comparison, didn't get a lot of healing percent down in that fight. So see if we can match that. We have seen Forsaken get far fewer resurrections up than Rolf in this series so far.
Now Sharik using that primal rage to stay alive. Mangachu already with 2 kills. He killed the pharmacy. That is huge for Canada. And there's almost no chance Russia can hold this one now.
I don't think absolutely so. Massive, Doa.
What
and
a
look
play.
at this. Rolf continues to take the lead in ult percentage for the resurrection. Forsaken isn't getting the necessary healing done. He's not living long enough in these fights to have an efficient ult build. So Rolf may actually hit the res again first, and that just could be the end of the map.
Oh,
Forsaken takes a big rocket.
That was a nice body shot from Mangachu. Been good at hitting those on the side with the pillars. Surefour sneaking in the back lines. He's got that pulse bomb. Oh, he sticks Chow. A lot of damage there. Can he demech him? Getting so close.
There's no healing for the D.Va, so he gets demeched instantly.
Not bad. Mangachu finds another kill on the mistakes as well. And there's a barrage getting one. Gets taken out, but he's done his job. That was 2 kills with that. And with Forsaken not even having the res yet, there's nothing Russia can do in response.
No way to play the tempo on that point. Only 10% left for Canada before they can take the first point on this sudden death on Oasis. Agilities has that Dragon Blade. Opportunity for him to go in. Resurrect available. Forsaken still work for his, and he may die before he can get it. Dragon Blade's out. He's looking for it.
Behind the wall, trying to get up there. Can't quite get there.
Surefour finished it.
That's right. Shadowburn's still alive, but they lost the Mercy yet again. 99% for Canada as they try to take the third point. Rolf gets in with the 2-man tempo res. And they've nearly got Russia. Mangachu staying alive, going in, going aggressive. The Pharah doing work. The OT bar ticking away.
He wants Forsaken again. He's got to get him. There he
he
goes.
did.
Gets him again.
Clutch from Mangachu takes down both supports. That res is never going to be used by Russia this round.
There just isn't an Angel of Mercy here. The reload, a little bit dicey.
Oh, that's rough. There's another barrage coming in. Well, Pulse Bomb included. That was a bad time for Winston, but a good time for Canada. And winning University was the most crucial round they needed to win to move forward. That is big for Canada.
I think I agree with you. That is going to be Canada's hardest point on Oasis because every other point is so far a favorite, and Mangachu was just playing out of his mind. Agilities and Mangachu combining to take out that Mercy. Target selection very good, and Forsaken never got that res off at all. He was hounded and tortured by the 3 DPS players.
Yeah, that got dark.
Yeah, that's right. That's what happens. Canada, when they get mean. Have you ever seen an angry Mountie?
I have not. I have not seen an angry Mountie.
I've actually never seen an angry Canadian person.
I've seen an angry Monty many times, but not an angry Monty. Here we go. On to City Center. Canada, of course, running the pharmacy yet again. Russia decide to pull it out. And as good as Shadowburn is on the Genji, as good as he is on the Pharah as well, Canada looks better.
Yeah, they do. So Mangachu trying to rule the skies once more. Russia going to be opting into that game from the beginning this time, but they're not going to play with the Mercy.
Chow. He was demeched. Soon he's going to be de-lifed, and a great start for Canada again. Oops.
That's a huge wipe. Rubicon trying to make it over the wall. Gets cleaned up on the other side, and that's the first capture for Canada.
When you look at Mangachu's Pharah play right now, too, you can see the confidence in his moves. The nerves are gone. This guy's in his element, and they're really feeling like they can win this one right now.
Okay.
So, well, that was close. Just nearly got the knockoff.
Yeah. Get some environmental kills there if he was so lucky. At the very least, he delays Russia from approaching the point. And
I don't know why they're putting those pits there anyway. It's really dangerous for whoever the city planner is in Oasis. Bad idea there.
Terribly dangerous. Shadowburn on the Pharah himself.
Chow desuited again. They keep taking out the D.Va first, and without that, Russia is really struggling. Shadowburn there on the low ground. The height advantage going for Mangachu. So close. Gets him with the air-to-air. Mangachu so good at this Pharah.
Well, Mangachu is opting into these duels because he's the one that has the Mercy, so he can take his time and afford to miss a few times. If there's a Mercy on the other side, the Pharah heals up so quickly that it becomes a much less effective battle. So it's those duels, he's getting a little bit more intimate with Shadowburn and the Pharah as a result of there being no Mercy on the enemy team.
Raj ready to go. Ready for the soldier coming up there. That's a trajectory you can certainly predict. Got some damage done with the rockets. Takes it to the low ground for just a second. Decides to just blow up Rubicon. Wow, he really did not want Lucio to live there. A little bit overcommitment that one. So, oh my goodness, that was violent. Take the children out of the room.
And slices Zenyatta's throat.
Oh.
So Canada now at 82%. This is it for Russia. They have to come back. They have to make the run back from nearly 99 all the way and then take the next point as well if they want to take first place in this group.
Surefour comes in, doesn't get the stick, but he does disrupt the attack from Russia. Has to get out, though. He doesn't want to get picked. Ooh, that's not good.
He's gonna
Gets
lose
taken
the duel.
down. Yeah, Mistakes gets that early kill. Good start for Russia here, but it's all about the Pharah. Mistakes also takes down XQC, so maybe Russia can flip this one back. Here's Agilities with the Dragon Blade, gets one. He's got the sound barrier to contest with, gets two. Chow taken out. Agilities gets more, and Rolf brings up the people who fell early on. Canada, they may have it right here, right now. A 2-0 on Oasis. It's certainly looking like that, and it's on the back of Mangachu's Pharah. Canada will take the match. They will take first place in Group F.
And that is going to set up our playoff matches here in Poland, Noah. It will be Canada going up against the Netherlands and Russia in a repeat of the finals of the Overwatch World Cup from last year.
Yeah.
Will be facing South Korea.
Wow. What a series. The fans on their feet, and you can't blame them. What a hero Mangachu was in that series. It was a group effort, and you saw a lot of things going on there. You know, everything kind of came together towards the end. Agility's finally kind of getting that support to unleash the Dragon Blade, but it really was the ability to play that pharmacy so well that I think gave them the edge.
And absolutely, and you did see Team Russia uncomfortable mirroring that pharmacy composition, and on a map like Oasis that is very favorable to Pharah,
you know,
it becomes difficult to take that win.
You look at South Korea too, and Flowers watching this match, going, you know what? I like to play Pharah. All right, okay, so I guess that works.
Yeah, he'll be pretty happy with that.
All right, so that's gonna do it for us for now, and we're gonna throw it over to Malik for an interview on the floor.
Thank you very much, guys. Mangachu, you okay, man? You okay? All right. Congratulations on your victory over Team Russia. To say that this was a hard-fought match, I feel like would be an understatement. So tell me, what was going through your mind in Hollywood, that first map, when it looked like you guys were going to full hold, and then Shadowburn came in with that amazing play?
Shadowburn's amazing. You know, his Genji is debatably the best in the world. I'm not surprised that he managed to make that sick comeback, so I was shocked, to say the least.
All right. Well, okay, I got to be honest with you. Mangachu, you know you're my guy. You know, we're team tall and all that stuff. But the diva play was a little bit doodle butter, I got to say. It was doodle butter. So, how did it feel to be able to switch over to Pharah and really impact the game and kind of help turn it around for your team?
It felt good. I'm not very confident in my diva. I feel like my Pharah is like, my diva's up here, or my Pharah, my diva's way down there. So, it's a great feeling.
I know you were practicing, but you know, maybe you need a little bit more time with Diva. All right, so you may have avoided South Korea, but you still got the Netherlands up next. I think it would be wise to not underestimate them, but how are you feeling about going into that matchup?
After what just happened, very confident. We all played amazing. Agility's had probably the best blades I've ever seen him have, ever. XQC had some crazy ults. Surefour had some great sticks, even though we killed himself one time. It happens. You get unlucky, you know. But it should be a great match.
All right, well, congratulations to you, man. I got to go compose myself after that one, ladies and gentlemen. So on that note, I'm going to go ahead and send it back to the desk. Golden Boy, take it away, man.
Thank you so much, Malik, and it's always great to hear from Mangachu there. I mean, the guy played incredibly, and he has so much to be proud of in that game. And what a grueling series this was. And I called it. I said it. I was right. Series of the day. I mean, then again, it wasn't really that.
We don't know that yet.
We don't know
That's
that.
true.
We still got more.
You know,
it was a
we'll
pretty good one, though.
It went all the way to Oasis.
It was all right.
I mean, come on, man. Like, that was fantastic. So, all right, let's just go ahead and jump right into it here and talk about Horizon, because this was Russia's pick, and Canada just did not seem all that bothered by it at all. They just marched right through.
No, actually, I was super impressed with Canada on that very map in terms of how they set up their positioning. On point A, maybe not so much, but when we moved into point B, I really liked Canada's defense. They were really patient with their approach. They even hit up on that ledge with Mangaju and XQC on his Winston, and they really they confused Russia with it. They managed to pull them away from each other, and then everyone just did the work cut out for them.
Yeah, exactly what you want out of there, and really Surefour playing the 76-2 really did help quite a bit. Agilities, though, was a superstar in that whole game. I mean, you could see it right there, Reinforced. He was just shredding through people.
Yeah, for sure. But I do think that the soldier pick from Surefour was the difference maker. Going into the map, we talked about that Canada had to change something up. They had to take a different approach. And I very much think that playing this more poke-heavy game with the soldier, with the Genji, shooting Russia from afar, forced Russia's hands, forced Russia to dive very much. And that's something they had issues with. And that was why they struggled so much versus Turkey yesterday on Road 66. We saw that Sharik and Shadowburn, they were struggling, trying to get into the backline of Turkey. And it was the same thing here. And Canada just identified that, brought out the Farah, brought out the 76 throughout the series, and finally just managed to grab the win.
Yeah, something I want to highlight here as well are the support players from Canada. On Horizon, Joe Meister, he really made sure that Surefour is being kept alive. He had a great boop when Soldier was being attacked by Shadowburn, and he just booped him off, and that was literally the only reason why Surefour managed to get 3 pickups right after that. And also on the following maps, I mean, Rolf, his resets were on spot, his Mercy play was absolutely superior to what we've seen from the enemy team. And overall, I just really felt like the supports gave them a lot of space.
Yeah, and we'll get back to those maps in just a second here. James, I want to bring you in now because, you know, you had a very game Russian squad going into this Route 66 matchup, especially given what we've seen from the Canadians. Russia were unfazed.
One of the things that I found a little bit disappointing is that they knew that the Farah was going to come out. And they can run the Farah themselves. And that's where you saw the discrepancy coming on out, right? With the fact that they started with Shadowburn on the Genji first, really put them in the ultimate deficit.
And this is an Oasis, I'm assuming?
This was on Ilios.
Oh, sorry,
right?
yes, Ilios. Yeah.
Ilios and any map where they try to go for that Farah v Farah matchup. And we already know that Shadowburn's Farah is fantastic. It's just that they needed to bring it out much earlier because we saw Forsaken actually struggling to get those resurrections. There was one point where Rolf actually amassed 2 reses before Forsaken even got 1. And it just came down to timing. It was just really unfortunate in that manner.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just feeling a lot of closure without getting too deep about this. Russia going into this tournament, they said they had some shot calling issues because Cruz usually does it on United. Sharik not really comfortable on the role, Shadowburn not really comfortable on the role, and eventually the downfall was that they couldn't get these clean engages when they were forced to do so. And Canada, on the other hand, not really confident on the D.Va, but when they swapped off that D.Va, when Mangashu jumped on the Farah, that's where you really saw them shine. So a lot of closure for both of these teams here.
Yeah, I was going to say, because Route 66, it really was a question of all right, well, you know, clearly the D.Va's not working here, and Mangachu said it himself in the interview with Malik, and even told us ahead of time, right? They knew it was an issue. It's very reminiscent of the Harry Hook situation in Sydney, where Harry Hook, you know, just wasn't the best D.Va. He was the first one to come out and say it, but his 76 is second to none. I mean, this guy it was like literally night and day when you saw it in Sydney, whereas this time, night and day. You see the impact that Mangachu has right away. And speaking of the impact that he makes, this is a good opportunity to look forward to Oasis here, because this is a very Farah-heavy map. You have to focus on picking that hero, and Shadowburn knew that as well, and Reinforce, you got what you wanted, buddy.
I got what I wanted.
It was just Farah v Farah all day. I
mean, there was just, Farah versus Farah all day. And it was very back and forth. I mean, the overtime on the first round on University, it was really close. Shadowburn almost came back and saved it for Russia, but eventually Mangashu came out on top with the clutch. Really cool to see overall. Eventually, as Jamerson pointed out a few times, I think that Forsaken with this Mercy play, not really up to par with Rolf, and that was a difference maker, but it's just really exciting to see Shadowburn and Mangashu going at it versus each other.
Yeah, I mean, it's called a pharmacy for a reason. You know, and you're only as good as the attached name to that, and
True.
that was certainly evident there. But Shadowburn, though, let's not take anything away from him because he had some shining moments there as far. One thing, though, James, that did, you know, it made me a little sad because like you kept seeing it happen because there was really no choice. But Shark getting picked off so early in these fights, and that really hurt the Russians as they were trying to engage in these battles here. And without that Winston, without that, you know, that disruption, it you know, makes it very difficult.
Yeah, one of the greater issues is that Zhao had to learn D.Va in 2 separate manners, right? He was supposed to play the Tracer, and so when he was forced on to that D.Va, he initially picked it up as the more defensive style, right? But once you do have the Pharmacy coming out, you don't have to play it as defensively. You can play it more offensively. He could have been that dive buddy with Sherrick. Unfortunately, he didn't quite make that adjustment, and it just comes from experience at that point.
Yeah, he is a great D.Va player, so it's not taking anything away from him here, and it is a character that he had said himself that he does enjoy playing at this point. But unfortunately, it was not meant to be, as now we take a look here at the graphic for Group F. Wow. Here are the final standings. Canada will go into it with first place, 11-2, Russia 10-3. Now we're still waiting for our final matchup in Group F, so it is final for Russia and Canada. At this point, neither Turkey nor Singapore can advance into the 1-2 place in Group F, but it is a battle for respect that will be coming up here in just a little bit. We saw the Turkish squad nearly take it against Russia and disrupt them in a way that would have been even more heartbreaking in this particular setup here, in this particular game between Canada and Russia. But here you go. Take a look at the schedule of events. And we are going to get our playoffs underway as soon as match 4 concludes. And we'll be kicking it off with South Korea versus Russia, a rematch of the 2016 BlizzCon finals between these two nations. Not necessarily the same teams, but the two nations will go toe-to-toe one more time. And then we will close things off with Canada versus the Netherlands. There can only be 2 left remaining, and we're getting so close to the conclusion here in Katowice, and so much more to come as well. But guys, you don't want to miss it, because like I said before, it is a battle for respect between Singapore and Turkey. We'll catch you on the other side.